Sit down. Howdy doody, y'all. Welcome. Good morning. It's May the 1st. Hello, May. Just got back from Miami. So today we're just going to kind of do a summary of the amazing trip. Half work, half vacation. Wes's toupee. Oh man, that guy's unbelievable. So we're back home, yeah. So yeah, today's stream is going to be about just the whole trip. What a trip it was. So many funny things. Try to walk my way through all of it. Have you shaved? Yeah, I was just shaving my arms, so gotta shave my arms. So yeah, we'll wait a little bit with the chat and then let's go over it. I would call that a successful journey. I had a successful journey. Today I was initially going to do a response video to some fedora-wearing atheist who thought he effectively refuted my 3 arguments against atheism videos, and he did not. But I'll do that tomorrow. Friday, I'm going to celebrate my 15,000 sub accomplishment. And then we'll do a fun book drive. I got some really funny stickers made. So that'll be Friday. Mars McLeod, I finally shaved my arms this week. Thank you, Jim Bob, for the inspiration. You're welcome. It's all it takes. You even shave your grundle? Look at this guy. Sit down. Ripped, rich, rare. Dude, thanks for the $5 super chat, Willie. Ripped, rich, rare. Platitudes for days. Have I seen a subscribe? Not a huge bump. The thing is, getting on a massive podcast is always good. It's hardly ever bad unless you perform horribly, which I didn't. But they didn't tag me. So, they probably are like, who's this fucking guy? He has 15,000. He's not up in here. He's not up with us. So I wasn't tagged, but that's okay. That's okay. If Wes didn't threaten people, I think his theatrics would be fine. But he gets violent and tells people he'll hurt their loved ones. Yeah, that's rare. Rare, ripped, and retarded. So, all right. Well, might as well get into this, So, first of all, thank you everybody who supported before the trip and throughout the trip through the Bob chats. Really appreciate that. The trip was justified. It was fun. It was, we accomplished goals. So I do appreciate all of that. I really do. And it's good to know it's possible in the future. If there's a short notice to go out somewhere and get on a show or something like that, I know I can do it now. So that's cool. Those podcasts favor a more polarizing personality. Yeah, I mean, that's what it, I can be polarizing, but I also know that, like, even if you get on a massive podcast or even a TV show, you're still invisible. There's something else. There's a couple other things that need to happen before visibility really takes hold. It's not just showing up, honestly. I'm going over their channel to post on their vids to tag me. Well, thank you for that. I don't think it'll really matter in the end. You did well, Jim Bob looked calm. Yeah, I was calm. I wasn't nervous. I just kind of like see it for what it is. It's like it's a shit show. It's a massive platform, but in that studio with the chicks that are brought in, I mean, it's a shit show. So, the best you can do is make it fun. I think we did that. Your posture was fantastic. Yeah, I thought my posture was good physically. All right, well, let's start it. So I fly into Miami. I'm waiting for Andrew to arrive and just checking out the landscape. A lot of homeless people, lot of human shit on the street. Filthy city. Truly disgusting. I mean, you think Miami, it's culture, it's diverse, it's colorful. Gross. Straight up gross. But I'm spoiled where I am. And so that first event happens, right? And I don't know what's going to go on. I got to meet Jay Dyer, which was awesome. Definitely want to meet up with him again and hang out. Super fun guy. So I'll meet up with him again, hopefully in a live event. So, yeah, we show up to the venue, right? And it's a live event. I don't know what's going to happen, The theme for me throughout the whole trip was, I kept saying it to Andrew, like, we don't belong here. But not in a sense like we're not in a place where we earned a position to talk with people and get on shows or whatever. It's just that culturally, where we don't belong. We're the fish out of water. And that's, coincidentally, why we belong there. We're there to counter narrative. We're there to get in the muck with these people and their culture, which, the whole red pill, manosphere, self-help, do your thing. It's basically eat, pray, love. Like, so ripped, rich, rare is eat, pray, love for men. And the reason that requires counter messaging is there's nothing wrong with effectiveness. There's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with being rare. It's just that it's not a goal within itself. And we saw that. And we weren't really prepared for that on the panel. So I wasn't prepared to go up on a live panel. Like, I'm not someone who in that sphere would be recognized as the pinnacle of success in regards to money, owning stuff, owning Lamborghinis. And neither is Andrew, by the way. But, we walked into, what seemingly almost was a trap, but the traps backfire a lot if that's what it was. I don't know if that's the case. I think they just had people not show up and they needed people to sit in. And maybe they were, this live panel event, the first Fresh and Fit sort of panel event was clearly geared around performance. And because it's geared around performance, it's a platform to sell their products, and their products are coaching services and these like sort of self-help modules, all of them. Wes and Fresh and Fit has their own, and the crypto guys, right, are in a deal with Fresh and Fit to sell a program, a teaching course about crypto and so forth, right? So it's all tied together. Andrew and I have nothing. What are we going to sell? I have some books, but certainly I don't have a course of how to be an epic man. I don't have that for sale, nor do I have a phantom or anything else. And so in that regard, we're out of place. We're the counter narrators. And we weren't prepared for the panel and the context it was presented. I thought, based in the spirit of Fresh and Fit, it's usually contentious. There's debate. You're covering a variety of topics. But this was clearly a pitch meeting, right? It was a pitch event that Wes, the gay guy, Wes tried to just take over. Just completely tried to take it over and use it as a funneling system to his own self-help program, which is essentially just him yelling at people. It's just him yelling at people and you're not enough. This guy, Westrogen. Yeah, that's funny, dude. Westrogen. And so that was apparent right away. Now, going in, it was clear that we were going to be our normal selves, which is contentious. Us as our natured beings, Andrew and I are both contentious people. However, it was right after the opening that I gave my intro that Wes's response to even my intro, which is a very modest intro about doing satire and the importance of sort of in navigating the tension between traditionalism and modernity, materialism. Now, I should have said materialism, but those people still won't even understand what that is, really. Certainly, Wes doesn't understand the distinction. But he was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And I knew right there, I was like, oh, he was coached also to be contentious, make a show, which is fine. But it didn't go well for him. It really did not go well. For those of you who missed it, this guy tried to take over the panel discussion and do like a selling, just a hard sell, really. And it just backfired because he couldn't answer some basic questions. I mean, he is talking about wearing a Bugatti and a Lamborghini watch, and he got his first Bugatti, and he was in jail, and he overcame jail. It's like Oprah. It's like, Randy Savage and Oprah adopted a baby, influenced the baby. It grew up, and then it it had it went on a buying spree at, Forever 21. Showed up on a stage. It was brutal to watch the guy. But he is, in fact, the epitome of materialism tied to the manosphere, the red pill sphere of winning, dominating, masculinity. Ironically, it makes you a feminine person, even if you're loud and muscular. If you pursue materialism above all things, you will turn into basically a woman, because you're going to find purses that are, this is a man purse. And you're going to find cars, and you're going to decorate the cars, and you're going to find, everything's going to be opulence and visuals. It's frivolous. It's silly. It's sparkly. You're going to chase sparkles. Now, men chasing sparkles is already off. But he's basically selling this very hard masculine approach to selling sparkles, man sparkles. You call them man sparkles. High performance man sparkles, right? And so it was exposed. I mean, something Andrew and I are both skilled in is just asking very simple questions, and that alone sheds light on, the insufficiency of one's worldview. These people they're not talking about worldviews. They don't care. They think that's a dumb question in itself. Forget worldviews. Do more push-ups. So simple questions were asked. Andrew and I made a position that, fine, pursue those things, but there's something else that must matter, and ultimately a high-value man, because they always talk about high-value men, right, on all these podcasts. High value, muscular, tall, money, wealth, these things. And really what we're pointing to is, even if you gave people those things and agreed, even if you granted that standard, we all agree that you have to then produce more high value men. Well, then the question is, what produces high value men? Even in their broken materialistic standard of a high value man, which is just all attributes of things in the world. No virtues, just things in the world. Acquire, what you obtain. Even if you granted that and said, well, do we want to produce more? Obviously, this necessitates family anyway. So you couldn't possibly get out of it anyway, but they do. They try to get out of it. There's nothing about family in those conferences. There's nothing about the valuing the relationships. There's nothing about your virtues. There's nothing about your ethical standards. It's all about winning, winning, winning. In fact, I was eating dinner, and there were some dudes sitting next to us at some steakhouse or whatever. Young guys, all tattooed, again, ripped, tattooed, impeccably dressed. Great. And their conversation was disgusting. I mean, one dude is like some probably Armenian or something. the whole time he's coaching this younger guy of how to become an OnlyFans agent, like explicitly. Well, you start with one girl, and then you have to shop and you have to scout, other girls. But once you have like 2 girls or 3 girls a week, then you basically start branding, and then once you get up to like 12 girls, you're going to be raking about 50,000 a month. And what I like to do is pick one girl for myself and keep her as my own. I'm not even joking. This is kind of like the nature of the beast there. Just absolutely disgusting. Horrible. Deadened. Dead eyes. Dead life. Just gross. Just meaningless gibberish about things. And then and he's talking about the whole thing. He's mentioning, I overheard him mention the war room, right? That's supposed to be the base. Isn't that Andrew Tate's based, subgroup of, high performance men, assets, agencies or whatever. I don't even know what it really is. It's just, it was mentioned in this conversation I was overhearing, and I was like, oh man, this is absolutely disgusting. And that's what's interesting, is that those people in those spheres, including Fresh and Fit, Myron and those guys, they actually know there's a tension between being a strong man and being high performing and being rich, and the degeneracy, which apparently, at least at the surface, they're fighting against, or at least they make fun of, which we appreciate, because it gives Andrew and myself and many other people the opportunity to sit in there and argue against it, which they appreciate. But at the same time, the sort of paradox is that their entire sort of outfit, their entire structure is, and they know this, is geared around materialism. So it's quite interesting how there's this ongoing tension there. And that's why they know the value of someone like Andrew coming in there and pushing back on this stuff, even though everything he's saying, everything he's exposing, does in fact act against their own assets, their own system they got going. So that's why people ask, well, why do you even do that? I mean, why would you sit in with a bunch of skanks? Well, counter messaging. First of all, entertainment. Second of all, counter messaging. That's why it's important. So I consider it an accomplishment. Now, I wouldn't say, I think the guy Wes ruined the event, honestly. But regardless of who you think ruined the event, I consider it an accomplishment to thwart someone like Wes Watson's messaging. Even if I could slightly thwart his messaging and undermine his power, his ostensible power, I consider that a win. So even triggering these people and getting them babbling on stage, yelling, screaming, they're eventually going to say something so stupid, because they're run by a feminine nature. They're run by their emotions. They think that hard masculinity all the time, like if you have hard masculinity all the time, like the moment you really do get aggressive with your kids, drop the hammer. That's something you use sparingly. If you use it the whole time, then it's a joke. It just becomes a joke. And we saw that. We'll bring it up on the video here, if those of you missed it. So what happened is we do our intros, and right off the bat, this loudmouth guy just steps in shit. And we both know it. Andrew and I both know it when we see it. We know the target. We know the person who's going to fail right away. You just watch it happen. The whole crowd knew it too. I don't think that guy's used to a crowd turning against him. But in this case, it was a major fail. So let's just look at it, right? So $10 Bob chat. I'll take a look at the Bob chats real quick after let's get into this just a little bit first, and I'll stop for Bob Chats. Okay. So this is a channel, Law of Distraction. It's a good channel. They do a lot of good clips. There's a lot of good clips of Andrew on here and other, sort of let's say they're curating based takes in a sense.
What you want, when you want, and with whom you want, whenever you want to do it. Because a lot of people don't have that level of freedom in the world. So 100%.
Audio shit. Sorry.
To be honest, it's working in what you love, because you got to wake up and love your life. Just create that, that life you just want to live every day. You want to stop, Sometimes I don't want to sleep and I want to wake up earlier just because I live the life I want to live. I also with my wife, like I'm married but not trapped. It's not like
I got married but not trapped. I'm committed but I'm not. I have discipline but I don't need it. It's like, I mean, this is feminism. I mean, it really is. We're at a point where, the decadence and luxury permitted the first phase of feminism, which is about women. And then all of reality, if you follow that approach, it turns men into women. Not just that they get soft, but they have no foundation for their telos. They're just theological. They don't have a purpose other than consumption and freedom and liberty. So I get married. I go in the boat with my wife, and I have my wife, but it doesn't mean my wife. And so I get to diddle other women on the boat, and it's fun. And so I have one watch, but it's not my only watch. And I have a Lamborghini watch, but it's not my main watch. And that's total freedom.
Like I hide shit. It's everything is up front. Like I don't hide anything, and I show everything. So
blessed man.
That's not blessed. No. That's not a blessed man. That's not a blessed man. That's a man he just announced the entirety of his being and his purpose is based on being free. I'm free. I will twirl. I get to twirl, and I have shiny, and I get tattoos, but I love my wife, but I also love the 3 girls on the yacht. So I'm free. That's not blessed. No, that's trapped. That's trapped. I wish this was louder. It's really bugging me.
In my definition of success is across the board. If you're not rich, if you ain't rare, if you don't...
It might as well say eat, pray, love on his shirt. If you're not rich, if you're not ripped, if you're not rare, I like my men like my steaks. I mean, this guy's this is the epitome. This is why it's so hard for people to watch because, someone like Rollo Tomasi, by the way, nothing against Rollo, but what a somewhat accurate review he did, but really just weak. Just a weak review of this. The red pillars, the manosphere, the people who want, men to rise up and dominate. This is the problem, is that if you really follow it to its logical end, there's nothing wrong with this guy. In fact, he is. Look at his little keds. Unbelievable. Little sockless keds he's wearing. He is, in fact, the logical follow of this view. You couldn't possibly, from a purely red pill descriptive lens, argue against this guy. He's doing everything right, in fact. There's nothing wrong he's doing. He's just killing it. This is what crushing looks like in this sphere. That's why it's so embarrassing, because they know it's cringe, but they can't really isolate what's inconsistent with the general manosphere with this guy. He is the epitome. If you were to make a cartoon and said, make it everything the sort of self-help, build yourself up manosphere is, dominant man, kill it, performance, this is it.
Stand out. If you ain't across the board successful, it doesn't mean fucking shit to me. If you got straight tits and you're in your Rolls Royce, you look like a fucking clown to me. I'm just laughing at your dumb fucking ass. But this is the whole fucking point.
Imagine him telling his wife how much he loves her. Like, I fucking love you. If you don't fucking understand, I don't fucking love you. I fuck, and that's how it fucking fucks. It's like, shut up, dude. You're like a little kid in the high school parking lot, trying to impress your friends.
You have a weakness. Change it, motherfucker. How the fuck are you going to lead people if you don't realize your weakness is their way out? They're not going to listen to you. You're sitting there possessing shit that they don't want to have. So, I mean, this is what people say. Oh, it's not about the money. It's about family, Wes. It's about this, about that. Motherfucker, when you're making money, it's about the money. When it's family, it's about family. When you're at the gym, it's about muscle. Whatever you're...
When you're eating a Pop-Tart, it's about the Pop-Tart. When you're drinking water, it's about water. I mean, good Lord. This is brutal.
Doing it's about that. There's no black and white life. It's the gray area. You have to be good at everything. That's the goal, to really excel in every area. I roll in most rooms with successful entrepreneurs, and it's pathetic. They'll have like a before and after picture of their fitness shit, and their after picture looks like their before pic. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're not embarrassed of this shit? Like, you have enough money, and that's what you put out. You're that big of a pussy. Like, I just can't get behind anything.
It just sounds like a Karen. Like, someone who talks like that, where they're always at high register, they just sound like a woman. Like, they're just whining. And it sounds like they're doing, a command. They think they sound like a general. They think they sound like a general, but they don't. They sound like they're whining.
That's not done at a high level. So knock the one thing off the board first, then the next thing, then the next thing. Jados is ripped, rich, and rare. I mean, the whole thing. What's rare mean to me? It means no vices. It means no drugs, no alcohol, no bullshit.
And this is what's funny about this view is they could never see material itself as a vice. That would ruin their entire infrastructure for what they sell. Okay? And now how convenient that they have some weird, baseless assumption against vices. Why? Why even that, right? He's not going to ask that. Well, because it makes you ineffective. That's what he would say. Well, effective at what? Getting shit. Effective at what? Getting more stuff, right? How is that never a vice? I wish if we actually got into the conversation with these people and it could be managed and this guy wasn't such an emotional mess, right? You know how quickly he was pushed to threatening violence on me and Andrew? I mean, that was quick. I mean, we're talking 35 seconds. We would ask him, is it possible that collecting Lamborghinis is a vice, and how would you know? Motherfucker!
Not to hide behind nothing. I mean, what's rich? I mean, you get to do what the fuck you want. I don't need you to be a billionaire to say you're rich, or other people, they'll see that even I rent my place. It's $95,000 a month. But they're like,
what? What? Bitch, I rent my place. It's $95,000 a month, bitch. Wow.
you rent your place. It's like, you dumb motherfucker. You don't understand how to even operate at my level. People don't buy a $24 million.
Listen, at my level, I'm spending considerably more than most people make on rent. Bitch, I'm a bank's dream, bitch.
House. They buy $24 million worth of properties that would bring them more money. You don't dump all that into that fucking liability and live in some $24 million pad you bought, stupid. You fucking make investments and you bring it back to this.
Oh, is the peaking better
thinks
now?
They know
Sorry.
some shit. And if you don't have the results that I want in some area, I can't fucking listen to you. So most people, I won't listen to them. What are they going to tell me? Some motherfucker comes up to me at the gym and he's like, hey, you should do your push-ups like this. And I say, why? So I can look like you, motherfucker? And the guy's like, oh, no, but like, it looks like you're going to hurt your... Shut the fuck up, dude. I'm end up with your chest if I do that shit. Why would I want that? Or these motherfuckers go in my comments and I'll say some shit on purpose. I'm like, rent or buy. And if you ain't at the level to even do either of these, shut the fuck up and don't even participate. And they just get mad. It's like, you don't get to have an opinion if it's not an option for.
Now, does that sound like another feminist slogan? It's basically like, you don't get to have an opinion if you don't have ovaries. Well, then now they're, forget that. I don't want to go on that tangent. But it's the same logic, right? It's like, you don't get to do this. You don't get to make a statement about, the values of men, of a strong man, unless you've accumulated a bright red watch and you got to the point where you shave your body every day, right? You don't get to have an opinion about it, right? And anyone who doesn't has an opinion, it's because they don't rent $95,000 a month, right? That's his reasoning. And people now I don't even really know how many people are listening to this guy. I think he had a little bit of a spark. He ran with it. He got some money quickly, maybe, and now he's trying to keep this sort of rhythm going where it requires him to be at level 10 all the time. He's like Robin Williams. If Robin Williams or like Sam Kinison, let's say, is better. If Sam Kinison was he quit comedy and he got into like the manosphere and self-help, it's like manic. It's manic.
For you. You don't get to say my chick's BBL and her fake tits aren't for you. You couldn't get her, you dumb motherfucker.
You don't even know if that's a chick, dude. I don't even know what a BBL is, but he just referred to his chick as an item. I mean, this is the thing about everybody on the stage, except for me and Andrew, honestly. Like that's the lens. Is just like, there's even a human is just this other peripheral object on your shelf.
You got a goddamn 3. And that's the worst thing about these motherfuckers. They try to give you relationship advice. Motherfucker, you got a borderline Miami 2.
Right, because having a decent or fulfilled relationship has anything to do with the scale of whatever you think is attractive, by the way. I'd hate to see what this guy thinks is attractive. I mean, I am going to go and venture with his time in prison that what he finds attractive, has a lot to do with covering up the nature of the person. That there's going to be a lot of layers between the actual person and the visual presentation of the person. He can make a lot of things look pretty, if you know what I mean.
That's like a fucking Mississippi 6. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Don't give me relationship advice to my 10 when you got a 2, motherfucker. Shut up. But
Wow.
This whole thing. People don't think I'm going to put the measuring stick to their motherfucking face. They better just watch what they say around a motherfucker who's beating them in every area. And if someone is beating you, just ask them. Just be humble. Like, your bitch is better than mine. How'd you get her? That car.
What? I mean, can you imagine what a broken mind and spirit you have to walk around and be like, hey, your wife is better than mine. How'd you get her? What? I mean, this is pathetic. And if this is if this is the best of the manosphere, this is good news. If we're at the peak performance of the manosphere and what it produced, the red pill manosphere, build yourself up space, if this is where it's come to, I'm happy. This is good news.
Car's way more than mine. How'd you do it? You make more than me. What's up? Like, just fucking ask. And that's the thing. People aren't humble enough to ask.
People aren't humble enough to ask. By the way, this guy, toward the end, we argue about humility, how important it is, and he says that's a bitch move. Wes is not manosphere red pill. I don't know, man. That's what everyone's going to say. They're going to say, that's not the real red pill. That's not the real manosphere, right? Regardless of whether you accept him, if the red pill space is mostly about descriptive truth and performance, I don't know how you're going to say he's not a function of it, right? You know what I mean? I don't know how you're going to say that self-development, this term toxic. Why is toxic bad? In fact, that's a meaningless term. No offense, Geofascio, but this is the problem with the entire space. Admittedly, everything's descriptive. There's no value judgment against things that are, quote, toxic. What is that term? What do you mean toxic? What do you mean toxic? Why would there be a value judgment against, even if you granted this nebulous term toxic? Even if you granted it, what do you mean? What's the problem? He's performing. He has a module. He has a heuristic. How could it possibly not be? Here's the question. How is everything that this guy is not compatible? That's my question. That's my only question. How is everything this guy is not compatible with the red sphere? Okay? The red pill manosphere. Tell me.
That's my shit. It's got to be across the board. You better have a bad bitch. You better be ripped. You better fucking be rolling some sick shit. That's what I like. I grew up hustling. There has to be rims on my goddamn
Hustling?
Phantom. Go out front. That ain't normal Phantom. That's a Mansory Phantom. I don't have the normal shit. Fuck that.
So you're pathetic. It's like a girl going, I have the real Dolce & Gabbana glasses, not the fake ones. I have the ones with the little silver thing on the side of the fucking things. It's like, this is the gayest shit ever.
That.
Just like this straight up female. You might as well have a female on there, right? Talking about, Lady Gaga being like, oh, I only get the real shit, I get, I don't even know some of the names now. Whatever it is, the brand names, that's all he's referring to. That's his entirety of his self-value.
Chick's got upgrades done.
Well said, Wes. God damn, with the fire. Shit.
I've been watching Goldie's content. That's the reason. I've been watching Goldie's content. He be getting me in trouble. My chick don't like his content. She's like, he's making too much sense.
Shout out to Goldie. All right, what about you?
Supposed to follow that up?
It's tough, right?
Get him.
It's
Well,
tough.
hey, what you guys were saying earlier, I need to know what the fuck you said in English.
Okay, so my definition of success will probably be far different than everybody else's on the panel. I'll probably maybe be the lone dissenter, but my definition of success is having a family, having children, and being part of the apparatus of the world. And true wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul?
Oh, gosh. Now, Wes, you can almost see the physical change in his body. Now, watch Wes.
To gain the entire world at the cost of his soul. And essentially, when I think of wealth, I think of materialism. It's okay to have materialism. It's not against Christian ethics to become rich, become wealthy. But I just think it's all beside the point, ultimately. You're trying to go for a single thing, and it's to achieve something greater
You have
than
money.
the person.
Does he have money?
See, he couldn't handle it. He just couldn't. He couldn't handle it. Look at Myron. He's like, uh-oh. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. The first question is, does he have money? We're going to determine whether anything he's saying has value, first and foremost, if he has money. That's how you determine it, right? That's how you determine it. Who's this idiot in white? He's basically one of the most maybe pronounced prison to YouTube caricatures, let's say. I think he's probably the most, at least, prominent one. I don't follow it much. Could be wrong there.
No,
Do you have money?
no, I don't
How
have.
much
I
money
don't
do you
have.
have?
I don't
Do you
have
have
money. But here's the thing. Why is money
much-
valuable?
Do you have
Why?
money?
What is money valuable for?
I'm just asking. Do you have money?
I just said no. I'm broke. I'm a nobody.
No, but really, you are?
Yeah,
Is he really broke?
yeah.
I just want to know. I have to know.
Now, this is awkward, right? Because obviously, if the precondition and the requirements for being on the stage is that you're uber successful and you're in a place where, it's obvious people should listen to you. Well, of course, I certainly don't belong there. Now, even according to their standards, Andrew doesn't either. But this is why it's so fascinating, is because if this is a stage about performance and the standard itself for performance is, massive income, no one on this stage making, bringing in less than X amount, right? And, you need at least one yellow Lambo. One yellow Lambo, or no, you can't talk. Of course we don't belong on this stage. So that's what's interesting, is that it's like a kind of a weird moment because, people pay for this event, and we didn't know the context. We thought it's like every other panel except in reality. Maybe the chicks were going to come out, we're going to roast them live. I didn't know this was a pitch meeting. Neither did Andrew. But here we are, two scrubs from their view, total scrubs, by the way. Just the bottom of the barrel, right? Bottom of the barrel scrubs. And so it's this weird moment because, the people putting on the event, they want to present the shiny people. Well, we're not shiny people. It's not our fault that we're on a stage. We're just, look at us. We're not flashing shit. So this is like a weird moment because there's incongruity with the nature of the event and the visual of the event and sort of like the context. Something's off here. One of these dots are not like the other. One of these things are not like the other.
Oh. No, I'm not. I'm not one of these rich guys. I don't have a Bugatti. I don't have a Lambo. I don't have a
just
Ferrari.
really have to know, like, how much money you got?
Probably $5 in my pocket. Not much more.
Can anyone answer for the guy?
Why do they think I'm kidding? I have a family. I take care of an entire family. That takes a lot of money.
He's doing all right.
Okay,
but okay.
This is the thing, you guys. If you ain't fit, you can't say it's not all about being in good shape.
Why not?
If you don't have money, you can't say
it's all platitudes with this guy. If this, it's like you should do a calendar. Just a and this is weird because this is how generally women tend to argue. It's not reasoned. It's slogan based. It's about what you kind of like feel intuitively at the moment. And this guy's response is you just make these rules. Just make these just random rules that just sound right.
It's not all about money.
Yeah, why not?
But if he does have money, he can say that.
Why not? Why can't you say it? Why must you have the thing before you hang on? Let me ask the question.
Because hypothetical is hypocritical.
Let me ask the question.
Hypothetical.
Hypothetical's hypocritical? Does he have a generator? Is he have a earpiece in his ear that's connected to like an AI that keeps generating more slogans? More slogans? Platitudes. Hypocritical? What? Hypothetical is hypocritical? What?
It's hypocritical.
How do you even know what I was going to say before I've even been allowed to ask the question?
I know what you're going to say.
Then what was I going to say?
You're going to say, why can't you ask the question?
Okay, so that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, how in the world can you create a standard that it's inappropriate to ask somebody, how come if I don't have X thing, because I don't value X thing, does that mean X thing is actually valuable?
You've never experienced it, so you can't speak about it.
You think that I haven't experienced wealth?
I was asking if you did.
Even poor people experience days of wealth.
I was asking if you did. I don't know who you are.
But even poor people experience days of wealth. And so the thing is
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Definitely so. Not. Definitely so.
I've lived the lowest lows and the highest highs.
Well, what's the distinction? After you make X amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you look at the studies done on this, it does not.
I don't fit no fucking studies.
It does not hugely.
I don't fit no studies. He's just too dumb. He's actually too dumb. Wes has never seen. Yeah, go to Peru. Go to the bottom of the hill in Peru and see the smiles, the toothless smiles, but they're still smiles, right? Is a smile still? Yeah, it's still a smile if it's toothless. Yeah, he doesn't know what that would look like, Nitty. He has no concept, and that's the sad part. It's obviously comes from this broken early life, and even if he exaggerated his prison, it's pretty clear what class he's in. You can't fake the class that he's in. I don't care how much bleach you use for your teeth or your jeans. You can't hide that you're actually low class like me. You're mid low class like me and Andrew. We can't hide it. You think if Andrew and I suddenly started wearing white jeans, you wouldn't see that something does still not. I'm still not buying it. You know, this guy's like Tiger King. Like he's got that trash spirit. It's a trashy spirit. Not just demonic. I think the guy actually has some demonic elements, but I'm talking about class. I'm talking about like, you know, the class system that you're in. You cannot get this guy. Now he's trying to buy his way out of it. And that's why he resists low schlubs like us. He resists it. He hates it. He despises it because he knows deep inside there's no amount of money that can get this guy out of his class. He is stuck in his class. That's how he talks. He can't get out of it. That's how he acts. He can't get out of it. He can't. That's probably part of his novelty, is that there's this conflict between what he's presenting and the way he acts. Super rich, wealthy, right? Most of the time, people inherit wealth in some regard. They're not striking it rich in some sort of lottery or some sort of invention that sends them up to the ranks. And so most of the time with wealth, especially family wealth that's passed down, there is etiquette, there's a way you talk, there's a way you act, there's just this unspoken intangible that we all understand, you know. I best describe it as this. If I'm in a room, even if I'm in a tuxedo that's fully white and I have a gold watch on, nothing's going to stop me from following around the shrimp platter. While everyone else who's actually rich and comes from the world of the elite, you know, they don't even look at the platter. They're not looking at the food. They don't care. I am. And so that's what I'm talking about. You can't fake getting out of your class system. And that's why he resists this so much. It's not that just that his entire persona is basically inextricably tied to materialism. The whole thing is. But underneath that, too, is the truth of who he actually is, which is a low-class person, a convict. He knows he's trash. He knows it.
Improve a person's life.
Are you proud of who the fuck
Bro,
you are?
why
Well,
don't
look
you
at.
even
Are
let
you
me
proud?
quit?
If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off.
I've been-
Tell me you're fucking proud.
because
of
See, he's basically doing a free lesson, because this is no different than the people who pay him to do this. This is what's so funny about it, that he's actually treating Andrew right now as if Andrew paid him tons of money to be yelled at, right?
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ!
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison?
bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
No, they go to prison where they get fucking.
Fuck yeah,
where they get
do.
raped up the ass.
You've never been to prison. Look,
That's
at
what
that shit you
happened.
don't know.
They go to prison where they get raped.
Now you get your ass
Hold on,
beat
hold
in
on,
front
hold
of
on.
You think that
everybody.
that's better? You think that that's better?
Let's let him give his definition of success, and then
Having tits and 10-inch arms is what a man is.
let's
You
let him-
guys.
let's let him
Please
get his-
don't listen to that.
Wes, let's let him get his thing out, and then
Tits.
We can have different opinions.
Yeah.
Titties,
Anyway, back to where I was at.
boobs.
Yeah. Okay. Prison. But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow
Fuck
the
yeah, he
successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with.
Yeah, Andrew goes prison, and the guy goes, fuck yeah. Yeah.
And
To take care
yes,
of a
I
family.
do think that a rejection of materialism is something missing in society, and I do think that true wealth is the family, and I think that true wealth is having a wife, and true wealth, that is what I think it is, and that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
And then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, "There's my stud dad right there, standing there."
Do you have-
That's
Now the crowd just told him to shut up. Like, that was the beginning. This is the beginning, because Andrew delivered something that is just as important, right? And the crowd knows this. The crowd, even if the crowd all wants a Lamborghini, let's just say they all want what Wes has, right? They want his pants, they want his keds, they want to shave their arms, you know, they want all this stuff. They want everything except for the life in, quote, prison he's lived. Now, all he said is there's something else here. And men, we know that the men there responded this because they approached Andrew after the fact and said, yeah, I'm glad that was inserted there. That's an important aspect there. Even the young ones who are more prone and vulnerable to this sort of stupid materialism gain thing as the only important thing. So Wes is not having a good time because he was going to use this as a platform along with the other guys to push more materialism.
Stud right there with
Do
his
you
shirt off.
do you have children?
Look at that
Do
stud.
you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have 2.
You have 2. So are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything
If
else
they
is
saw me
worth more
standing
than your
there, they'd be
children?
like, my dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from
Sure.
nothing to this.
Yeah.
He's, God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining.
That
You're
is
just
a
making
stop.
hard
whining.
Dude, I'll smack your fat
Yeah, so
ass.
you're gonna-
See, right there. How is it that this guy's reformed and the very thing that got him in jail to begin with, he's back to it, right? Does he sell that in his program? Does he sell that? When you're confronted by another man who can argue better with you and confront you on your bullshit and he doesn't back down, right? What do? You go to violence, right? That's the thing that got you in jail, right?
gonna attack.
And this is why. This is the big L. Obviously, he was an L beforehand, but his whole story about going to jail and being reformed assumes that you ought not go back to jail, honestly. Right? That's the whole point, because you're going to be trying to sell to other broken people who might want to avoid jail. And now him as a person, though, forget what he said, all the other nonsense he sells. Right here and now, this guy's been exposed thoroughly, by the way, before, by many other people before this. But this is probably the beginning of the exposure, is because if that's the case, that's it. I mean, the gig's up. Everybody sees it for what it is. Oh, I see. I see what you're about.
You're gonna.
All right.
Nobody.
Do you usually attack armed men in Florida?
Dude,
All right.
look
Let's
at
just-
your goddamn self.
Okay,
Guys,
well,
guys,
I've
guys,
never
guys,
seen such a
stupid.
pathetic
Wes,
motherfucker.
Wes,
Okay,
Wes,
well,
let's chill out a little
I'll-
bit, man. A little bit.
This is not what men look like.
Let's let him.
What do they
finish
look
his
like?
Point.
Fucking shit.
What do they look like? Bald prisoners?
Fuck.
Is that what they look like?
This
And
is
let's
the
let
problem in
let's-
society. Is people like this think they can talk to someone like me like that.
Well, they can, because he just did, and you sat your ass down, you little bitch. This is the problem with society. Yeah, you just sat down. They think they can. No, we do talk to you that way, and he did. Right? That's what happened.
They really think they can. He knows he wouldn't do shit about it, and that's the problem.
No, it's you who didn't do shit about it. You see how he projects real quickly here, tries to change this around. No, Andrew said what he had to say to you, and so did I, and you're the one who sat down. You just said, no, you can't pretend to talk like this. No, the problem with society isn't that men can talk to each other directly and have to deal with it. The problem in society is actually people like you are so full of shit that when you say something directly to you, you just squeal and moan, and your only resolve is to hurt people. Right? How is it that an ex-convict is in the position? You know how he said if you don't have 500K, how are you in the position to talk about to what extent you value money or not? Well, okay, fine. Let's take his reasoning. How is someone in jail in a position, right? Someone comes from jail in a position to tell us what's wrong with society.
I mean, you're the one who got hostile for having a difference of opinion.
Dude,
Good.
check it out. You started coming at me about some other shit. This is what the show is supposed to be about. I like this shit. So personally,
So do I.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy
But I
blood
mean,
sports.
We
baby.
can agree to disagree.
We can
We
have
can move on, but
we can-
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, men don't have tits. We can agree on that. Physically,
Men usually have hair. We
he
can
has
agree on that, too.
He has
Physically.
crossed over gender barriers.
I think we can see each side had
By,
different
by
opinions.
choice, crossing gender barriers, by growing tits.
So, what about you, brother?
All right, nice.
Crazy.
In my case, it's God maintaining your ethics. And I think more, if you're not contributing to a moral society and you're only contributing to a consumerist society, a materialistic society, that's the only thing you're going to worship. And tons of people worship material things and flash it around, but it's vacant. It's spiritually vacant.
The craziest thing is.
Here he is. See right away. Right away. The same exact thing is happening again, this guy.
You looked at
You
the
can't-
people who are supposedly materialistic. We've helped more people than these.
See, that's the thing that, helped more people, right? Helped more people. Now, what does help mean? It's all materialism. The whole fucking thing. Now, I hope there are people who are in the crowd, and I know there were because they approached us, but that understand that, like, if your system values material above all things, whatever you determine as helping is going to be completely informed by materialism, right? That's why I call him out on this problem here.
These guys who
Why is helping? Why is helping? Wait. Why is helping important to you?
I mean, because I know what it's like to be at the bottom.
So are you helping someone if you give them an expensive watch?
Why do you think we just do that? You must not know who you're talking to.
I asked you a question. You didn't. He can't answer a direct question. Answer it.
I give them the habits to build themselves.
What did I
into
ask? The habits to acquire material. I'm asking, why is it valuable to develop the habits to acquire material? Ask you though.
Said, am I helping them if I give them an expensive watch? I give them habits, a mindset.
So the
I
answer
teach
is
them
no.
how to operate.
So if you give them,
But you guys are assuming we're
Just
only
answer-
doing
no,
stuff
no.
about materialism.
Can a man answer a direct question?
Jesus Christ. These Karens.
The answer
are
is
tough as
no.
fuck. Look at these fucking Karens.
Go ahead,
dude.
buddy.
How the
Unbelievable.
fuck did these guys even get up here?
Yeah, well, that's the only fair question he ever asked. Well, that's more directed to me. But let's say it wasn't Meyer and he didn't know Andrew and whatnot. There's no way Andrew and me would be on this panel if it was specifically around how to acquire Lamborghinis or, $1 billion in Bitcoin and all this bullshit. No way. No way. So yeah. He's actually having the appropriate mental breakdown response to this is that this makes no sense. This makes no sense. How am I sharing a stage with another person who doesn't worship material and doesn't embody the pinnacle of material success? How am I even on the fucking stage here?
Why would you bring me here with people like
You didn't
this?
answer the question.
Dude, fucking shit.
We got different of opinion here. Okay, go ahead, Miguel.
This is why they split it like this. I'm sorry you got put over there.
No, I know.
You don't really fit over there. We need some other little fucking lame douche over there.
Oh man.
I'll
Come
still
on,
answer the
man.
question. Is giving
Would-
someone an
would you-
expensive watch?
Would you guys really hang out with these guys?
This is not an argument.
Like-
People said yeah, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
They're skilled. They're
Fuck
skilled at some
you.
things.
Whoever fucking said
Hang
that?
on, that bass guy right there just said, "Hell yes,
Little
shut up."
faggot.
That's fucking hilarious. You're awesome.
Go ahead, man.
The
Sorry.
whole crowd says, "Yeah, we'd hang out with him."
Yeah, fucking jelly donut.
Hey, bro, your toupee, it's still back there in the. You shake your head. or-
Okay. We got
All right, go ahead, Miguel.
We're on Rumble, right?
Yeah.
We're on YouTube too.
Oh, well, fuck you alive.
Bro, George Michael wants his pants back.
Dude, God damn, look at whose shirt is that? Dude, your fucking mom bought you that. Your aunt bought you that for fucking Thanksgiving dinner. That's like Oshkosh Bagosh or some shit, bro. Jesus
welcome to the
Christ.
roast session today.
Dude, any of you guys who fucking...
God
Go fucking
forbid,
kill
God
yourself.
forbid you say watches are not important to this guy.
No, it's the thing about materialism. Yeah,
you worship it, dude. You worship
These guys
it.
must have grown up with money. The
Bro, you
people who didn't
worship
grow up with
material.
money chase money. The people who
Worship
didn't grow-
materialism.
Shut the fuck up.
You,
You don't
worship
know me,
it.
you fucking
I can
lame.
tell. I can tell by your speaking.
How the fuck do you think you know
Listen
me?
how reactive you are if someone
Shave
says,
your goddamn arms.
say you can't shave your arms. Now, we didn't need this much more, but we already had enough from the beginning is, this guy. This guy, is he really the pinnacle of success and masculinity? Is he really the person we need to, that younger men need to look up to? Shave your arms is now a meme. I've seen it everywhere. It's beautiful. Shave your arms. I was thinking of getting a shirt made that says shave your arms. Do you even shave your arms, bro?
Can't deal with it. You can't deal with it. Why would I shave my arms? I'm a man.
Look at these pale
What the
fucks.
fuck is wrong with
Look at even this rapper guy is like, what? Yeah, right. The crowd.
you?
Okay.
Shave your body. Aren't you a man?
Look at this guy, dude.
Okay. Let's let Miguel finish this real quick.
Let's post these guys.
Shave your pubes.
Hey, post these guys, women.
I shouldn't have taken there, but I just ran with it. Do you even shave your grundle, man? I mean, do you even shave your grundle?
Guys.
I want to see these guys, women. Let's put these trolls.
See, right away, the women. Right? Let's go to the other feature, not the cars. Let's go to the women, which like clearly on the same shelf as the cars, and let's just look at their women, right? Let's just judge them. Judge the women now, right? Bring the women in. You see a pattern here with this type of character? Right to the women.
Women are not objects in our world.
Guys,
We're not materialists.
guys, relax.
I've never heard more
Relax.
lies in my life.
Relax.
This is one thing I don't like.
Wes,
It's
come on,
people
man.
who lie.
Wes,
Yeah, what's the lie, dipshit? What is the lie, dude?
You're crying.
Wes, let's just
No.
move on.
We're gonna
We're gonna
continue.
move on.
I
We're
can
gonna
make
move
you
on.
cry if
I
you
could
want.
make you cry, he says.
We're gonna move on.
That's all
We're
you
gonna
got.
move on. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move
I
on.
could if you want.
We're gonna move on.
It's all
Now, this is the problem here. People say, oh, you're both responsible. No, we're not. This guy started slanging the F slur, right? Slanging the cigarette phrase multiple times. Probably dropped it like 6 times in a row in like 2 minutes, right? And this shut down the YouTube aspect of this event. Now, this event took a lot of money, organization, there's a lot of pre-production and post-production that goes on, and this guy just shits all over it by violating TOS, right? The entire chat is so pissed at this guy already for him talking so much. He just doesn't let other people talk. But not only that, he goes ahead, and because he doesn't have any discipline. What is a man without discipline is my question. What is a man without discipline? If you can't even discipline your own mouth, right? For the sake of the people who invited you here and the people who paid to be there to get their tidbits of advice, they're seeing a man, the loudest of on the stage, perform the poorest. The loudest on the stage is the least masculine at this point. And so everyone's pissed, right? They're pissed that they set up this event, right, for months, and it's a unique event for a podcast because it's in the flesh. And he just basically got them off of YouTube in this very moment, right? Even the showrunner, or not the showrunner, but the venue producer or whatever, basically said, "Hey, one more of those, we're basically not going to do it."
All you got is threats. And
We're gonna
brute
move on,
strength.
guys. We're gonna move on.
Speaker.
We're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna move on.
At least,
Okay,
I, can
Miguel,
answer,
go ahead.
at least
Miguel.
I can answer a direct question.
Guys.
Oh my
We're gonna move
God,
on.
how
Go
did
ahead,
you bring
Miguel.
me here? I thought this was
Go
like
ahead.
some real shit.
Wes, we
I
gotta
thought
chill,
this
man.
was
We gotta
some
chill.
real shit.
Dip.
Wes,
I
go
don't
ahead.
give a fuck.
I'll
right,
dip. No one cares. No one cares if you dip. In fact, if you did, maybe we could get into some other stuff, but no one cared. No one responded. No, Myron and this guy didn't go, no, please don't. I'll dip out of here. I'll dip.
Success, right? Freeing the slave.
All right. Now, there's another thing I want you to see here, because I was like, people are like, dude, have you seen this guy's work? Have you seen this guy's content? Watch this. This is great. This is him. By the way, he was so triggered by this. He spent like probably 4 full days. I don't know. He might be still going. 4 full days just completely spurging and coping in his variety of cars. And I caught one of them. So I was like, I screen grabbed it while I had it. Watch. This is hilarious. Wait, where is it? Oh wait, hold on. Is it here? Wait a second. Oh, okay, hold on. Here we go.
Hey, you guys, rule number 1 of being a fucking man.
Well, we know rule number 1. If you're going to buy a $500,000 car, make sure to have Barbie teal blue suede covering the entire inside.
Men are not uncomfortable with their shirt off.
Rule number 1 for being a man, don't be uncomfortable with your shirt off. I mean, this is some top tier shit. I mean, if we're looking at the steps of success, this is definitely at the top, I would say. That you definitely, first and foremost, you want to, it's not that you develop a skill or figure out how to find a good woman to raise your children right, find a church to be a part of. No. Establish good relationships with people, honor your word, your discipline, don't be a slave to your vices. No. We don't want to go with that. We want to go with number 1, and number 1 would be, you want to be comfortable with your shirt off. Okay. All right.
Only fat little bitches are.
He's still mad. He's so mad. This is, just think of it. He's like, days have gone by, and he's like, I'm going to go for a drive. I got to go for a drive.
Done. Do you guys get that when you feel uncomfortable, it's not right? Do you understand that any negative internal feeling is a notification that you're living incorrectly? Like, that is God. That's the universe telling you, you fucked up.
Wow. So we're now, at least we got some of his philosophy. Maybe he went home and he was like, what do they mean by worldview? I gotta draw something up real quick. Okay, hold on. Let's go with the most feminine thing ever. He basically just said a new age nonsense trope. Whatever the feeling is you have, that's bad or good, that's God, but identical to the universe telling you that you're messing up, right? If you have a bad feeling that you've messed up. No. It sounds like you're saying you're God. So, okay. Some of us, it's great that we know at least some of Wes Watson's epistemology.
I'm gonna make you fat little bitch ass feel like shit right now.
I'm gonna make your fat little bitch ass feel like shit right now. So here's the first premise. If you feel bad, right, about something, that's God telling you fucked up. So I'm gonna make someone feel bad. I don't have my buttons ready, but I'll do it manually. Let's hear it again. I was like, what? Did he really just do both of those statements in the same, almost the same run-on sentence?
Right now. You don't. I'm gonna make your fat little bitch ass notification that you're living in. Internal feeling is a notification that you're living incorrectly. Like, that is God. That's the universe telling you, you fucked up. I'm gonna make your fat little bitch ass feel like shit right now.
I feel like he's just saying all the dirty talk he learned in prison. Like, this is how they talk dirty to each other in prison. They're like, I'm about to become God to you, you little bitch. Show me that ass. I'm God right now.
You don't get to escape this, motherfucker. And he's telling you, you gotta change this. You fucking chubby little bitch with tits. You guys don't get it. You think it's your choice to regret certain things in life. No, the regret is placed in your heart because you're fucking up. You're going against what men are supposed to fucking be.
You mean shaved armed ex-cons who buy a bunch of girly cars? You kidding me right now? You kidding me? All right. So again, this is the first aspect, right? This is us, I land, sleep in the hotel, hang out with Andrew, have a beer or two. We go to this event. It's going to be fun. It was fun. Now, this is effective. Now, I think out of everything that happened, it was definitely fun going on the actual podcast. But as far as going home with something to cherish as an accomplishment, I would say this is the thing. You know, it's not much of an accomplishment necessarily to berate and undermine the thoughts and words of a woman, especially the kind of women that are cultivated on the podcast. But this guy does represent some level of influence, you know, on some market of men. And to be able to, you know, be on a panel in front of people, you know, it's just not in the physical, but broadcasted to, you know, 30,000 people or something collectively. To be able to do counter narrative, to do counter messaging against this guy in particular, and honestly, anyone else on the stage, including the hosts who present any validity to this guy's view, to be able to do counter messaging on this is, to me, an accomplishment. To undermine this guy's view by showing and provoking him to behave in a certain way that's inconsistent with what most men want to be is in itself a win for me. So, you know, I'd give myself W's in the chat for that. Because that's not what it looks like to be a man. It's not. It doesn't look like that to be a man. To go cope driving, right? Which of his colorful cars is he going to ride around and just whine to his audience because he just got completely obliterated, undermined, and embarrassed by two scrubs who don't have watches, who don't have white jeans, right? You know, and keep in mind the red pill manosphere, self-helposphere already kind of knows this guy is full of shit. So it's not like we did any of that work. That was already established. He's still thinking that's true. That's the thing. He thought he reformed from prison. No, he transposed prison onto reality. He transposed the social aspect of prison, maybe some economics of prison, the persona of prison. He exaggerated it, by the way, which you'll hear more of from other people. And then he ran with this thing, this sort of self-help. He's basically just a loudmouth prison guru, right? And it's a joke now. He's a joke now because now he was a joke to most people, but now he's a joke to more people because no one wants to be that. No one wants to be a man and look like that and act like that. So that's a win. To me, that's a win. Anybody who sees that guy, from anything I said, from anything Andrew said, if anyone looks at that guy after with a little bit like, there are a lot of people with money. Isn't it strange that there are other people with as many Bugattis and as many, bullshit Lamborghini red, little kid red watches, right? Isn't it strange that those people don't share the same values as this guy and could adequately coach other men in performance, but also potentially include an ethical standard? Now, if you're talking about rare, ripped, and rich, you know what's rare, Wes Watson? You bald little prison bitch, is that what's rare is having all of that material wealth and being able to convey and operate at a high ethical standard. That's rare. What's rare is having a lot of money and holding a strict ethical position. That's rare. You're not rare. You're no different than like Vanilla Ice in his day. You're not rare. You're not going to be remembered for your performances, for what you gained. You're going to be remembered for what you lost. That's what Wes Watson's going to be remembered for what he lost. Let me look at some super chats here. Go from the top. Thank you so much. Mars says, I finally shaved my arms this week. Well, thank God. Don't thank me. I mean, that is just a glorious moment. Willie Jenkins, $5. Ripped, Rich, and Rare. Eat, Pray, Love for men. Effing Epic became a YouTube member. Thank you, Effing Epic. Extanglia, $5. Thank you, Extanglia. People need to stop saying Wes was graped in prison. Can't grape the willing. Oh, man. VP member for 1 month. Most RP creators basically do astrology for men. Yes, Red Pill creators do astrology for men. Even the whole Gamma thing, right? The whole Vox Day and other people who developed that. This constant categorization of what men are in this sort of a swapping of astrology and what do you call them? Like your month, right? Your birth month, this kind of stuff. They just swap that out with this set of assumed hierarchical things. Now, if there's any truth in that is a different question to whether or not you rest on that, and you shouldn't, because it's mostly nonsense. So that's funny. The most accurate thing I've heard about the Red Pill self-help, yeah, it really does replace the astrology thing, especially in the sexual social hierarchy stuff that they sell. Because then you get men thinking they're a certain thing. You're like, oh, well, I'm a this, and that's why it makes sense. Because I'm a Sigma, and so it makes sense that it's a Sigma. And you're like, what are you doing? Do you have like a tattoo? Do you have a little Sigma tattoo on your arm? I'm a Sigma. I was born in October, but I'm a Sigma. Tyrants versus good leaders. Yeah, Extanglia. Good distinction there. The person on the screen before could only... I don't even think that guy would be effective enough to be a tyrant, honestly. Turbo Diesel, $5. Wes still uses loose cigarettes as currency. That's funny. Leon, $10. Thank you, Leon. You don't go to the Red Pill for virtues, right? Every Red Pill man knows that. Okay, you know that. You know it. It's all about performance. One success is reach, and you choose to do whatever you want, having family or not. Well, I see there's a problem with that in itself, Leon. That's the problem in itself. So if you go to the Red Pill for virtues and they say, well, we don't deal with that, we only deal with success and performance, then they couldn't actually offer something that offsets a man's wrong path. And this is not masculine. So the Red Pill being that if I take what you're saying accurate to describe the Red Pill itself is passive and feminine. Because if you're in a space and you don't take a stand as a man toward a metaethical position, and you just say performance is what we're after, then you can't tell me or guide anyone away from performing in any particular arena. For instance, let's say there's a Red Pill space that kind of seems ethical. Maybe they hang around more Christian people and they like the influence of their ethical system. And let's say they have an event, just like that one we saw, okay? Here's a little hypothetical, right? The hypothetical is this Red Pill who swears they're only about descriptive truths. They start performing as sort of like a coaching influence. Let's say they develop a program, and it just turns out that the highest performing men in their little group using their system all became extremely wealthy through pornography and OnlyFans. Okay? Let's say that's the case. Now, suddenly, Leon, if you go to this place of coaching, right? Let's say some agency, some Red Pill sphere system, right? Performance system company. If you go to them, now you have to deal with the fact that the majority of their highest performing men are OnlyFans agents or porn producers or whatever else, right? Whatever else degenerate shit. Now I'm saying the fact that that's possible and likely in that sphere is it's not neutral. It's not like, oh, can't we just look at the Red Pill as neutral? I'm saying, no, you can't. And this is why. Because if what you're saying is a problem with society, it's just only a problem with performance, it's an insufficient position. Why? Because you have to make an ethical claim. If you're saying, well, can't we just be a neutral position as a Red Pillar and say, we're all about performance and just looking at performance and underperforming and figuring that out? Well, no. What if you're a high-performing shithead? What if you're a high-performing piece of fucking garbage? Sorry about my language. What if you're high-performing at undermining traditional Christian values? What if you're effective at that? What does the red pill space have to say about it? Huh? Huh, Rolo? What do you got to say about it? Well, no, I'm staying in the descriptive arena. Yeah, that's gay. That's not masculine. Well, I just need the right to just describe things. That's what women do. Women narrate. You ever notice that? Women narrate? That's what they have to do. They narrate the day. They narrate reality around them. They describe reality around them. Well, then this happened, and then that's that, and this is this, and he's doing that. That's what they do. That's in their nature. This is not a good defense. Not that you're... by the way, Leon, I'm not attacking you. I'm just using your comment as a really good example, because the problem with masculinity and men has to do more with the what is the ontology of man? What are the virtues of men? What are the rigorous duties of men? You can't have a space that cultivates performance for men and leave out the ethical standards, because you admittedly have to you have to accept high-performing degeneracy. That's why I ask you, if it's Wes Watson and his particular way of doing things or someone else, you have to look at them and go, well, he is performing. Yeah. That's why I ask you, is it inconsistent? Is there any inconsistency with a red pill space, agency, company, cultivating high-performing degenerates? Is there anything inconsistent with the red pill manosphere? No. The answer is no. Mud for $10. I'd love to fix his stuff. He'd come out, listen here, you tiny little piece of white trash, rat trash. Aren't you ashamed of fixing toilets? Come on, get it, sit down. Nope. As far as I go into a crawl space, check for leaks on some plumbing. Yeah, the whole blue collar thing is out of range for this West guy. I mean, he would have to say that all these blue collar workers who fix his stupid Lamborghinis. Lamborghini is like the bikini for men. All the people doing all the shit, making life what it is. The roads that he can drive his little toy cars on. The toilets that he props his little butt on. With his little shaved legs and his kneecaps. Managed by people from his own view that are losers. The men who actually keep society and civilization afloat are the losers in this space. They're losers. Marcus Antonio gave 5 gifted memberships. I really appreciate that, Marcus. Javelin, $2. The amount of actual gay stuff this dude said is wild. So many gay tropes. But even if they weren't gay, they're at minimum feminine. At minimum. $5 from Mud. As an alpha male, I always assert my dominance by asking other men to play tibby-tubby time. Show me your tummy! Yeah, that's masculine. Shave your arms, show me your tummy, go take your shirt off. Okay? Mintalk, $5. Jim Bob, show me the way of life and pathways I need to take to get shoulders. I've always sought shoulder. I'm still seeking shoulders myself, Bintalk. But it's a lot of presses. A lot of shoulder presses. So that's the start. Bintalk, $5. Wes Watson is a woman scorned. He really is. That is accurate. He's like in the courtroom. Like when the woman loses it in the courtroom. Hell hath no fury like Watson scorned. He will take it to the grave. Oh, he's pissed. He's pissed. Caesar the Grape, $4.99. Thank you so much. Wes goes to therapy with Jordan Peterson animation would be hilarious. I might do that. Honestly, I don't think there's enough people who even know Wes Watson. I was thinking of getting myself a bald cap, like those bald caps you can buy, and going into. I'm going to start a Wes Watson alternative account, a parody account on Instagram. How funny would that be? Wes Watson parody account. Get some green screens of like Barbie cars inside of a Barbie car. DC Woodworking, a member for 5 months. He says, Wes shaving arms, animated gift. That's hilarious. Yeah, slow shaving in the shower. Christian Mario, $1.99. Thank you, Christian. I finally shaved my arms. I'll never be the same. Yeah, that's a start. That's a start, motherfucker. Let me see your arm. Give me your tummy. Get your tummy over here. Get your tummy over here. $4.99. Wes is a buffer gayer BB. Pretty much. Same personality traits, for sure. Same personality traits. Dustin S. People with more money than him act much cooler and drive VW and Toyota. That's right. I thank you for pointing that out, Dustin. I actually talked to Andrew about that briefly. Where we were like, people with a lot of money, they don't want people to know they have a lot of money. In fact, if you're a man and you're smart, you never let people know you have that much money. In fact, you might say, if you did that, you're either dumb or you're lying. That maybe Wes Watson doesn't have that much money to be that loud about it. Quiet about their money, yeah. Also, shave your arms to the soundboard. Yeah, I will. I have to fix... My soundboard's not working right now, unfortunately. By the way, shout out to everyone behind the scenes at Fresh and Fit, because they do a really funny soundboard, and they're really good at timing it. So I was giggling. Dude, love 36 $5. Wes will end up like Ozymandias. If you haven't read that poem by P.B. Shelley, I recommend. I'll check that out. Yeah, it's like that. Wes reminds me of the guy. What's that Pearl Jam song? Sorry is the fool who trades his soul for a Corvette. He thinks he'll get the girl, he'll only get the mechanic. It's all about people selling their soul for money. It's fitting, he's barely living. A man will soon forget. Josh Rubio, $9.99. I was born in February. What should I be? Yeah. You better do a chart, Josh, right away. We got to figure out what Josh is. Do you think I'm a Sigma? Do you think I'm a Beta? Do you think I'm an Alpha? Do you think I'm a... No, I'm a Delta. Are you a Delta? I thought I was a Delta. I was wrong about Delta. I was like lived a whole life of a Delta until I realized. Doomer Doxy became a YouTube member. Thank you, Doomer Doxy. Appreciate you. $5 from Doberman Owner for life. The nail that sticks out gets hammered. That's true. Old Joe gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Old Joe. Appreciate your support. Twizzard, $4.99. Thank you, Twizzard. Roman King, member for 4 months. His drill sergeant style approach isn't new. He just doesn't know when to turn it off. He adopted this ridiculous character 24/7, showing his insecurity. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think he saw that something worked, produced a result, and he was like, well, motherfucker, I'm doing this for life. And then it all falls apart. Because it's a novelty. It's a novelty. Leon, $5. In your hypothetical, I would go to the person I respect for virtues that align with me. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't go to Wes or Tate for performance. Yeah, but the thing is, the question, Leon, would be, let's say you went to a place, and in your view, you can swap out how they, in what industry they became high performing in. Like a hypothetical, for those who missed it, was if there was some event run by a red pill sort of high performance male system, they were selling a system to you, and it just turns out that all of the speakers were high performing, but they were just high performing in the production and sale and proliferation of pornography and OnlyFans. What I ask a red pillar is, why? Is there any reason you wouldn't seek advice from that person if your advice is strictly about performance? See, I would hold off on their advice. In fact, I would probably deliberately not seek advice from them. But in the red pill sphere, because it's purely descriptive, there really is no reason to say, well, no, I'm not going to seek advice from them. Because because it wouldn't matter what they're doing. I mean, if it was legal to do, human trafficking, let's say, and you got really good at it from one of these red pill performance systems, right? You just figured out how to, systemize it, you standardize it, license it. You turned a trafficking model into a McDonald's. You were wealthy beyond, would you really ask that person for advice? No, as a man, you'd go, no, there's something fundamentally broken in what this person values in his ethical system. That's what would happen. That's what's missing. That's what's missing from libertarianism. And libertarianism is very much adjacent, if not parallel or tied to what we mostly see in the red pill space. It is. Because they all default to, well, dude, I'm just describing things, bro. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just describing things. You're not going to get a large population of very strong men if there's no ethical system. Because strong men don't tell you what they ought to use their strength for. OrthoCuber, member for 5 months. Thank you for your membership. People are putting crypto scams into the review section of my church. I don't know if I have seen something so disgusting. Those could be bots. I don't know if it's obviously people run bots too, but it might be the case. Old Joe, another 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Old Joe. Enlightened Archer gifted another 5 gifted memberships. Again, that's a great way to support the channel. I was lucky enough to be on a massive podcast the other day. I wasn't tagged. I'm not going to see the upticks from that. I'm not going to really see much of anything from that, other than trying to derive some clips and have them run and push my way. So any support you continue to give on my channel is much appreciated. If it's a membership, that works for you, do that. If it's a Bob chat, go ahead and send one. If it's super chat, but I do appreciate any support, as it's going to be a constant uphill battle for me, honestly, to keep growing. Let me see miss some chat, just regular chats here. I want to catch up with you guys here. Let me go over to my Bob chat system. All right, let's go from top to bottom here. $5 from Sam Shamoon is your dad. My issue with the red pill rich ripped rare is that you cannot have a million millionaires, right? Yeah, I was talking to Andrew about that too. It's like, let's say everyone succeeded in this system. He wouldn't have a system because it wouldn't be rare anymore. Most people have to be below that. Yeah, in fact, you can't have your consumer base, from his view, without most of them not being him. In fact, it's in his interest that people never reach, quote, his standard. That's kind of the funny thing. Let me see. This one comes in from Ticky Tack. $25. Thank you, Ticky Tack. I really appreciate that. That's very generous of you. For Arm Raiser Fund. Yeah, please support the Arm Raiser Fund. I don't know how I'm going to make it in this space, going up against other strong men if I don't have a very smooth arm. Willie Jenkins, big titty scrubs. Thank you, Willie Jenkins. What else we got here? A $50 Bob chat. Thank you so much. That is very generous of you. John Slide Rule Boulay. Thank you, John Slide Rule Boulay. Jim Bob and Andrew for the W. Think Wes suffers from Slim Jim dysphoria. Snap into a Slim Jim. Snap into a Slim Jim. Lift up your shirt. Show me your belly button. Motherfucker, show me your belly button, motherfucker. Show me your belly, please. $100 Bob chat from Joe. Thank you so much. He says nothing. If you did say something, please write it in the chat. Sometimes the chat doesn't come through. Joseph, thank you so much for that. That's very generous of you. W's in the chat for Joseph. Massive super chat there. Another large donation from Sean. Shanye, shout out to Shanye for the Bugatti fund. Thank you, Shanye. I need to, I do have a Bugatti jar by my bed where I put cash. I don't know how else I'm going to do it, honestly. I mean, it's such a huge goal. An actual bot for $5 says, thank you, actual bot. Are you helping someone if you give them a watch? If Wes had just 3 more brain cells, he could have answered that the person could sell the watch. That's correct. That's correct. And then he would say, well, great. So we're back to the money, right? So then the watch itself, right, wouldn't be the value. It'd be the money, right? It wouldn't be the things. It's what the things represent, which is the money. And it's like sort of this circular thing where you go, why get money? So you get the things. And why do you have the things? Because they equal money. Just, it's like, you know, it's circular. It doesn't give you where you're standing, but that's correct. But even if he answered that, actual bot, you're right. The same question would be posed back on the money, right? That's why asking is a good way of questioning one's standard. Blue Skittle, $5 says rich, roided, and retarded. Correct. I mean, it really is eat, pray, love. I can't unsee it now. These platitudes, it is feminism for men. That's why many people have said they've used the term meninism, and especially applies to the sort of red pill space, the MGTOW space. That they're not identical, I understand, but they do have a correlate. And it really is about men, men's rights, my thing, me, me, me. You can't tell me what to do, woman. And it's a lot like a kid. It's like a little boy fighting with his mommy. You can't stop me, mommy, from shaving my arms. I'm going to shave my arms. My lifted shirt, shaved prison wallet says. That's a great name. Glad to see you back and safe and sound, JB. Thank you so much. Yeah. And the last night was crazy. Like, I'll talk about the podcast a little bit, but there's less to really talk about over there because it kind of went exactly how I thought. Now, I didn't know if I was going to get on at first as we showed up to the studio. There's a little contention there. Understandably, a little rascally guy like me, 15,000. I'm a scrub in that game. I mean, you know, I'm a scrub in that game. I don't have those numbers. I'm not flashing shit around. I'm not, you know, you don't see me hopscotching on all the major podcasts. People know my name. They don't know me. And so from that view, I understood some of the hesitation that was there at first. But I'm glad they listened to Andrew. I'm glad I got on. I thought we had a ball. I thought you guys had a great time too in the chat. I was watching the chat. You know, there was hardly any space, by the way. So, you know, the disadvantage of it, one negative about it is that Andrew and I look like a gay couple trying to argue for adoption because we're so close together. But, you know, that was, you know, it was a trade-off of having a seat at the table. And that was fun. You know, it's trashy. It's cringy. Of course it's cringy. Completely. But the point of having someone like me or Andrew in a space like that is because that space does have influence. That's just a fact, whether you like it or not. Ignoring it, don't get mad when it keeps growing. So anytime you have an invite to get in a space like that, you know, at least to see what it's like, if you can push back and have a lot of ears and eyes on you pushing back in whatever way you do. Now, the fun part, I called it, you know, battling with fun, because there is a way to argue against all this degeneracy and still maintain a fun, joyful aspect. So to me, that was like a joyful event of warfare. And, you know, those chicks, God help them. God bless them. They don't know. They don't know. They need male leadership. But it's going to take more. This is another thing is so interesting, is that all the criticism I just, you know, threw upon the red pill space, if you bring in all these prostitutes, and the reason you bring someone like Andrew in to begin with to argue against their system, their philosophy, their politics, their ethics, if you're using Andrew to expose how stupid these chicks are, well, you're missing the point. because just because they feel stupid isn't the value of doing that. The value is to reveal where some of these problems stem from, like feminism, or men who defend feminism, which is just more feminism, or the fact that a godless ethical system that's strictly about performance, which is mostly the red pill space, can't tell you why prostitution is wrong or a terrible detriment based on an ethical standard. So, there's a weird paradox, because in a man space that pushes high performance but doesn't make judgments about where you high perform. It could be OnlyFans. It could be being some sort of porn producer. It could be this, it could be that. The paradox, the tension between holding that view but also arguing against prostitution and like, oh, we got to fix this degenerate culture. You're kind of stuck in a little bit of a performative contradiction. Bintalk, $5. Jim Bob, show me the way of... Oh, I already read that. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate that. I think I just missed another Bob chat. I do appreciate all the support. Much appreciated. Woodshop. Thank you so much, Woodshop. He says nothing. That's rare. Woodshop, you usually have something funny and sharp to say. $25. Very generous donation. I really appreciate that, dude. Thank you for that. No offense, Enslaved by Truth says, member for 17 months. But this just sounds like standard hairy arm, shirt wearing, non-Lambo owning, broke beta monogamy male cope. I mean, it could be. I'm open to being wrong about that. Josh Rubio, $4.99. You should be in the next Gillette ad, except for shaving your arms. Guys, don't start shaving your body. I could see a little trim here and there. I do believe men should be impeccable. I also agree that it's a good thing for men to be in shape. I don't disagree with either of those statements. But the question is why? Why? Now, going to the extent of shaving your body so that you're smooth, right? So in the event you're suddenly needed to be a swim racer is kind of why. Hanzo, $5. Wes's "show me your tummy" wasn't an insult. It's just his pickup line at the bars. Yeah, I know. Show me your tummy, motherfucker. Very weird dude, honestly. Very strange dude. I even went up to him after just to be like, no hard feelings, because I don't want to be stabbed in the neck, honestly. It was dead vacant eyes. He didn't even know what to do. So anyways, you guys have any other questions about the event? I'm not going to really review the podcast itself. I thought it was funny. I thought we brought some fun jokes and one-liners. I did a couple of good setups. A bunch of fun moments there. Yes, cliche owned moments, right? Good for clips, but you got to remember, I'm also in entertainment. The combination of entertainment and counter messaging is what I do. So, you're gonna see cringe stuff. That's just part of it. He can only roast. He thinks he's teaching, right? He thinks he's teaching, right? But he's just boxed himself into a situation where his view, he can talk down to people and be on top. No pun intended. Yeah. It's rough. I mean, his Instagram is hilarious. Maybe we should look at that, honestly. That would be, let's do that. Let's do that, shall we? Let's just look at a couple more of his little rants, because they're so funny. He's funny not for the reasons he thinks. Take a picture of your own back in the bathroom. Yeah, definitely take a picture of yourself in the bathroom. I mean, it's all about him. Yeah, here we go. Now, this is another thing, okay? He has 1.2 million followers, apparently. That's what they say. He has, 1,900 likes. Okay? That's all you need to know with these liars. They're living a lie. Listen to this. He's still coping, by the way. This is you could basically assume every short he uploads, every reel and post he uploads where he's talking, for at least 2 months, he's going to be talking directly to Andrew without saying his name.
Articulate stuff. If you explain too much as a man, it's validation seeking. I don't explain anything to anyone. I tell you how it is because I know the answer and I don't need a rebuttal. That's the difference. You guys explain and your underlying energy is validation seeking. I don't need yours. I'm already there. I already did it. That's the difference. If you over articulate stuff, if you explain too much as a man, it's validation seeking. I don't explain.
Wow. The irony there, huh? He's basically saying, listen, I got a really good excuse of being dumb as fuck. If you're gonna talk and explain anything when people ask you, then you're just, over validating. Oh God, he's so retarded. No, that just means you're dumb and you can't further explain anything, right? I just say how it is. And the irony is he's explaining that, right? All in the comments, he's explaining it and stuff. It's pretty funny. Now I know I need to I'm going to buy a cap. I'm going to buy a bald cap. I have to start a parody of this guy immediately. I have to. There's no excuses. Oh, look, a picture of him checking his phone. Killing it. What? By the way, this isn't actually healthy looking. That's not healthy looking, honestly. Not even close. What is with these bald bearded dudes? Bald bearded barley. Bald bearded barely standing. Let's see what else this guy has to say.
The only fucking way you can flip your identity is to give yourself difficult tasks each day. A difficult set of daily habits will flip one's identity. Right now, they're too weak and they don't believe in themselves. Give them 3 months of the difficult ass shit I make them do. They're not going to be able to lie to themselves. This shit's fucking hard. The whole thing is there was no structure. So even if I structured the stupidest program, okay, wake up at 11 and then
he just gave his grift away. He charges a bunch of money, and he's like already defending stupid, simple programs where he doesn't have to do anything but yell at people and tell them to do sit-ups. Oh, Wes. T-shirt idea: become unshavable. That's funny, dude. Become unshavable. Look at his third most recent story. Okay, I'll check it out. $5. Well, when you say performance quote, it all depends on who's giving the advice, though. It depends on the men. Some don't have morals, others do. I'm saying, I understand that. But then you're not talking about just performance, right? That's what I'm saying, is that if you're listening to a person who only is referring to performance and that alone, can you get something from them descriptively? The case, yes. It's like someone without morals can tell you how to effectively boil the perfect soft boiled egg or something like this. Okay, but I'm saying at a level like this, and you bring in ethics, I agree. Suddenly you can go, well, I'm not, I might take, let's say 2 people say the same advice. If I'm going to take advice from anybody, I'm probably going to still approach the person I believe has a moral position grounded. And so that assumes you're going to get more advice from them. This is an ongoing question of, if there's a group of high-performing individuals who are telling you how to live your life as a man, if they don't have an ethical system, you should be out. Right? Leon, next Dono Gold Bar is to shave his arms on a stream. I'll never do it. I wouldn't do that. Leon, thank you for the $5. I would never. I don't even have that hairy of arms, honestly. You know, my neck, back of my neck's hairy. My face, you know, my face is essentially a beard. My whole face is a beard. Big Bob was pretty comfortable with his shirt off. I wasn't, though. I wasn't comfortable. That's why I kept it from the neck up. He's talking about, I was like getting ready for bed, and I saw they did a stream, but I couldn't go back upstairs and get a shirt on. So I was like, well, I could still call in. And they were very uncomfortable. I mean, someone like EBT, you know, talk about a roly-poly, you know. Just so uncomfortable looking at someone without his shirt on. He just couldn't, you know, I had to keep like, come on, look over here. You know, apparently he couldn't talk about truth or stuff because he was so distracted. He even remembers it. I mean, he's remembering a call-in, like late night. I think I was kind of shit-faced too, honestly. I think I had some embarrassing IPAs that night. Bin Talk, Wes Watson is a woman scorned. Oh yeah, I already saw that. Thanks. Thank you for that, Bin Talk. Prison prattle. That's actually pretty funny. Prison prattle. That really should be a thing. Especially because I think it's the case, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the case that there's an entire market and industry of the prison to performance industry. Like there's a prison to performance, whether it's YouTube or something else, right? Johnny Arcade says he's been a joke since he told the world he put his paperwork up his butt. Yeah, we don't forget that. I want to save that because I think Andrew, hopefully, with enough support from you guys, he'll be doing a trash talk extravaganza. So I don't want to give away all of the epic details. Ortho Eric 499. Wes is a buffer. Oh yeah, I already saw that. Thank you so much for that. He really is. Looks like I'm way behind on this. Maybe my mom thinks grape is. No, I don't. I don't think that. I don't know why you would say such a thing. Why would you? Why? Why would you say such a lie? Huh? Huh? Anywho. So that was that. I don't know if you guys have any other questions about the trip. Oh, by the way, another fun part about the trip is like after the event, Andrew and I were like, let's go shoot machine guns. Let's do it. So Andrew somehow gets in touch with Sneeko, and we meet up with Sneeko and his two dudes, right? We go to this place called Lock and Load. Honestly, I've been to a couple gun ranges, and Lock and Load, it's fun, but it's more like an amusement park and a half museum, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of guns there. Andrew's extremely knowledgeable with guns. He knew every single gun. Every single damn one. Unless he was making shit up, in which case I wouldn't know anyway. But I don't think he was. So we were waiting a bit, about an hour, before we, paid the overpriced tickets to choose 3 guns or more from a menu of a bunch of machine guns. Andrew's still super pissed that he didn't get a proper Soviet AK. Complete lie, it was a lie. It said it on the menu, Soviet AK. Anyway, so Sneeko shows up in sort of a race car, sort of like a green race car-y Dodge, beefed up Dodge, and 2 of his buddies, and they were cool. I mean, like they're like kids. I mean, we're like 40, 43, and they're young, right? They show up, we say what's up, we go pick out our guns. We start shooting machine guns. It was pretty fun. Good time. A lot of laughing. A lot of loud sounds. And eventually we got to talking afterwards, though, because we were like, Sneeko liked shooting, but his favorite thing was a shotgun. And so we leave, and he's like, I want one of those. And Andrew's like, yeah, you can get one. Get one for like $200. Get a really good one. He says, hey, I was going to take Jim Bob over to the gun shop, and we're going to look at something too. Maybe ship one home. You want to come? And so he drives us. You know, we get into Sneako's little race car machine, and we're just driving around trying to find Sneako a shotgun. It was wild. I wasn't expecting that. And they were good. They were funny. Talked about all sorts of stuff. Talked about weapons. Talked about Britain, UK, because the two friends were there. Obviously, they were. I mean, it was pretty obvious to me that they were Muslims right off the bat. The nail that stick. Oh, I already read that. Anyway, so lots of laughing, lots of joking, talking about, you know, the industry, streaming, this and that, some of the players. It was fun. It's a good convo. And then toward the end, when we realized all the gun shops were closed, and he was not, in fact, going to get his shotgun, and I was not going to pick out a fun gun to ship home from Miami. Well, he was like, well, I'll just drive you guys back to the hotel. So on the way home, Sneako has the Quran playing in its song form. I think maybe that's the way they listen to it, right? Chanting the Quran, right? So Andrew and I are just, you know, still talking about stuff, but that comes on, and then I think it was like Sneako or one of his friends mentioned that they haven't listened to music in like a month. And I forgot. I thought it was like a Ramadan thing or something. And Andrew asked, well, you guys don't listen to music? Of course, Andrew already knew the answer to this, but he wanted to get it from them. And they say, yeah, it's sinful to listen to music. And that was the kickoff of a pretty epic debate, informal debate, stuck inside a Dodge Charger, you know, Sneako's driving. And the guy in the front is like his good friend. He called him, I don't know if it was a joke, but he called him his sort of spiritual advisor. His clips man. Now, only in this space is your clips man also your spiritual advisor in this world of streaming. So we get into it about Islam a little bit, and particularly around this topic of what's sinful and how music is seen as sinful, right? And we go, well, that's interesting. Is music itself, we'd have to define what that, it depends on what you mean by music. So what is it? What is it? Is it lyrics? Is it an instrument? Because they don't play instruments either. You know, and I can see the argument from an Orthodox perspective when you go into a liturgy, it's not appropriate to have an instrument playing, but that's during a particular time during the liturgy. Like everything is constructed around a focus of God, focus toward Christ. So yeah, someone playing a flute could distract you, right? It's not fully focused. So I understand the principle, but the application is different than the principle. So we were questioning the application of the principle, because it could be the case from a variety of views that instruments or some extra aspect of entertainment or something, including an instrument or a style of playing, could actually remove you from the pureness of what you're trying to do. But the argument wasn't about that. It was about whether or not music itself wholesale was sinful. And so they started to say, it got into other things like alcohol, things, you know, anything that takes you away. They essentially made the argument that it's coping. And we pushed back and we said, well, that's interesting, because anything you do, like in this case, you drink a glass of wine after a day, you have some wine with friends over a meal, right? Now, from their view, that's coping. Okay, because, you know, you had a long day and you're just trying to avoid reality. And so I brought up the dentist. And I said, well, if avoiding reality is in fact a cope, and you're equating a cope with a sin, right? In this case, consumption of alcohol at any time, any context. If that was the case, okay, 666, Illuminati and verified. Illuminati confirmed. then I just went to, okay, you go to the dentist, you're about to have your mouth drilled into, right? Is it a cope to take the lidocaine or additional local anesthetics? Okay. Well, he had to bite the bullet and he said yes. Well, then why is that okay? Like, how is me sipping let's say I have one sip of wine with my filet. How would that be different than the dentist if the principle is if you avoid reality, it's a cope? So not just the dentist, but anything else you do, that's a cope, including air conditioning. And, coincidentally, Sneako's air conditioning was broken. Is it all a cope? And if it is anything coping, is it sinful? In which case, could you actually live a life from that perspective? And the answer is no, you can't. You cannot. You can't do it. It's impossible. You're always basically sinning, basically. So this is fascinating, right? And then it started to get pretty contentious because I started cornering his spiritual advisor, his clips dude, who was in the front seat, and he was getting a little flustered. And finally, he was pushed in a corner. His own logic, us being trained in, both of us, Andrew and I, coming at it from different angles, forcing him to the conclusion of his logic, right? To the consequences. And he couldn't deal with it. And he started getting a little bit puffed out. He started getting frustrated. Okay. And he essentially finally said, well, I don't think he had a British accent. I don't think your arguments have any real merits or something like this. And Andrew's all, well, I mean, if they didn't have any merit, you'd be able to refute them. He just laughs at him. And that was the end of what was at one point pretty light and fun. And we had to tell them, because they're, it's still to this day, I'm not like a grudge. This isn't a beef, by the way. It's just that's what we do. And so we had to clarify, guys, this is just what we do. Like, if you get in, if you're going to tell me about your clips channel or how you make clips and what we're doing wrong, right? I'll take an ear from you, even though I think it's mostly bullshit anyway. But if you're going to start arguing metaethics with two debaters in the back of your car regarding, a position you're going to hold and try to argue for, if you have problems in your system, you definitely shouldn't be debating two blood sports gremlins in the car. You shouldn't be doing that. But he did. And when Andrew said, well, if it was such a broken argument, you'd be able to refute it, right? And the energy changed in the car. The energy completely changed in the car. And I was like, okay, well, that's that. And nobody caught it, but I did, there was traffic toward, the traffic toward the end of that drive, getting in downtown, and I, leaned up to Sneeko and I said, hey, if it's more convenient for you, you can drop us off here. I think it went over his head, their head, but I thought it was fun. So anyway, that was that. Sparked some good debate. I thought that was good. I didn't know I'd be meeting Sneeko, let alone shooting AK-47s with him. But further, I certainly didn't know I'd be in the back of his race car, driving through Miami, looking for a shotgun. At which point, when we failed, it would lead into a sort of informal debate in his car, defeating, I would say, his spiritual advisor's position. Pretty happy it happened, though. Pretty happy it happened. This Sneeko interaction need to be animated Meat Canyon style. It might not be active, action-packed enough in Slave by Truth, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So, Let me see if I missed a chat. My StreamYard chat's going way slower than the YouTube, so I have to catch up here. Alrighty. Did I get that? Oh, okay. Another one. Here we go. I already got that. Oh, Slide Rule comes in with another $50. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you, dude. I really appreciate that. A follow-up question for last night's podcast would have been, if the man doesn't finish, does he get a refund? I actually saw your comment there, dude. Yeah, that was funny. That whole prostitution argument is fun because it can be repeated over and over and over again. And there's so many different ways to catch them. And now I tried to get it a little bit into meta ethics. Of course, I have to, remind myself we're dealing with, a bunch of, women of the streets, women of the streets. And so, there's only so much you can do in a setting like that. But it was interesting because the question of whether or not OnlyFans is prostitution or not is something we can dive into and definitely argue about. But what's interesting to me is why. I'm always the meta person. Is why would it be the case a woman does want there to be a distinction? That means they're resting on their own meta ethics, that they do actually hold a position against prostitution, because if it didn't matter if it was or not, they would say that. If it didn't matter that there was some line crossed where suddenly it becomes prostitution or it doesn't, you notice how there are these women who participate in this stuff and they're invested in it not being prostitution because there's a stigma, and it's not just because it's illegal. It's more than that. It's illegal because there's a stigma, perhaps, but it's not a stigma because it's illegal. Wes dresses like Hannah Montana. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's like, Randy Savage went into a Forever 21, which was one of the funniest super chats that came in that night, most of which were in support of me and Andrew. One of them was, oh, nobody realizes Wes actually went to jail because he robbed a Forever 21. I thought that was pretty brilliant. $5 comes in from Justin. Thank you, Justin. I am an Orthodox catechumen right now, and I would like to know what you think the limits are as far as making art music. That's something I'm still exploring as a catechumen myself, Justin. It's a great question, and that's something you ask your priest about. That's something that is always kind of going to be there, is like, to what extent you take your gifts in the way you express yourself and the things you make. I think there's more so a line around you don't want to take a corrupt or perverted take at iconography. But as far as things that are obvious, I think you already know that, Justin, like just the way I would. But anything in the middle is something you shouldn't be asking me about. But I do appreciate your super chat. You should be asking someone in the church. It's a good question, though. It's like something even worth doing a stream. I think we talked about a little bit. I did a stream about 2 years ago about, quote, the iconography of the world. And the whole point was that everything in reality, in a sense, is a battle of iconography. Like from the church position that our house is an icon, that we are icons, that, every extension of the physical space, if it can be consecrated in a sense, then it can be, transformed in a sense spiritually. And if that's the case, then there's a battle of iconography all the time. Many people say that pornography is the iconography of the demonic. And it's not just that, it's a lot of other things. And so we're always engaging with some form of broken iconography all the time. Broken, subverted veneration. It's pretty much what all of fame becomes, that these people become, quote, icons. They become icons. Of what? Of what church? The church of the world, the Church of Materialism. But it really is a good question, Justin, if you're a creative. I love to chat about that stuff, honestly. But I can't pretend I have a very strong position or sense of knowledge in regards to how it coheres with orthodoxy, because I myself I'm still learning that as well. Another $10 comes from Sir Christopher. I want to personally thank Wes for providing the internet with a multitude of material to make fun of with this super chat. Your message of shaving your arms and making men show their tummies will never be forgotten. He's doing the work. I'm doing the work, motherfucker. Anyway. All right. Well, I've been at it for 2 hours, but I'm willing to go more if there's more questions. I want to make sure I didn't miss any. Thank you to everybody who donated so far, and I'm going to be planning a book drive. I made some really fun stickers. Can't wait to show them on Friday. I'm going to do a book drive. How it's going to work is, the first 10 orders get this set of stickers or this sticker or 2 stickers or something like that, and then it keeps adding, so that if you get up to 25 book sales, each person who gets a book gets this a bunch of bonuses or something. Still figuring out I have 2 of the bonuses already. I have 2 really funny stickers. You guys are gonna look at the stickers, and definitely one of them, if not both, you're gonna say, "I need that." You're definitely gonna say that. The question is telos. Yeah, if you're referring to that last question, yes. Twizzard says the logical entailment to Wes's lift up your shirt only leads to pull your pants down every time. Every time. Wizard. Good point. Every time. It's weird. It's really weird. Why does he want to see? He is the red pill liver king. Westrogen is that's probably very likely. Very likely. You wish that Andrew lifted his shirt and it was a giant swastika. That would be funny. Imagine he lifted his shirt because he knew he was going to say that, and it was a giant fake tattoo of Wes. Andrew's like, well, hold on, give me a second. Got to get off this stupid stool. Hold on. Man's going to show you his stomach. At least be patient. And he just lifts up his shirt, and there's a giant Wes. Like a beautifully crafted Wes Watson portrait tattoo. Mr. Westford, $4.99 on behalf of all the West Collective. Watson is not invited to the cookout. Yeah, we don't need Wes. We can't have that. Jason Scholl, member for 10 months. Thank you so much, Jason. Plot twist: Wes collects his shavings to make dolls. His wife and kids, quote, are just hair dolls. Oh, man. I wish he was more famous than he thinks he is. I really do. Because the references are just so funny, but it's just nobody knows who that is. Woodshop the Wise, $5. Thank you, Woodshop. On behalf of the Bald Men's Collective, Wes is not invited. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you really fit visually, Woodshop. You better be careful. If there's some sort of correlate vulnerability to people with bald heads and beards, you just got to watch it, man. When you go out, and you see a nice car, if you find yourself staring at the nice car for too long as it passes, then, there's something to manage there. B.S. Lewis, member for 2 months. If Wes offered you $55,000 for your arm hair to make a manly wig for himself, would you do it? No, I wouldn't. Wouldn't do it. I would not do it. It's a good question, though. Those challenges are fun. Those are real hypotheticals. You know what? We should stop doing religious hypotheticals, theological hypotheticals, and really start getting into this other space here that's available to us. All right. What else we got here? Sit down. Anyway, I think Andrew's going to start a stream soon, if not already. Let me know if that's happening so I can transfer people over. I'm sure he'll give an epic story tell of the... By the way, here's the other thing that was just great. Okay? Just... What a great experience. Andrew and I were like... Well, Andrew's all... Looks like there's a place about an hour away we can shoot alligators. I was like, what? I want to go shoot some alligators in the fucking head? I mean, yeah. And he's like, well, we can go fishing. And I'm glad we did the latter. I mean, I'll still definitely shoot an alligator. But I ended up feeding an alligator instead. So we call a bunch of places. And this dude, shout out to Hutch's Guide in Fort Lauderdale. Hutch came through with his boat, got the two of us on his boat, just the three of us. We went through the Everglades, like the movies. Sort of swampy, rivery, lots of wildlife, tons of alligators, fish literally jumping out of the water. And, we fly through there and landed at some spots. And I'm telling you, I've never caught so many fish in my life. I didn't even know it was possible. It was like ridiculous. It became like a joke. And, I'm glad I'm streaming before Andrew because I told Andrew, I said, I'm going to catch the first fish and I'm going to catch the biggest fish. And he's competitive, by the way. Andrew's very competitive. So I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, so you're saying you're going to alpha me? And I said, fuck yeah, dude. I just know it. And, we get on the boat. We settle in. He gives us the poles. I caught a pretty big peacock trout in about 30 seconds. So Andrew's all, sulking. Can I smoke you mind if I smoke a stove, man? He's already sulking. He starts to catch up, though. But then I hit him. I hit him with the big, the winning catch, which even the guide, Hutch, shout out to Hutch, I pull this sucker in. I'll show you a picture of it. I pull this sucker in. Now, of course, it's his job to tell the person, right, that it was the biggest fish, right, that he's ever seen. Okay? I get it. I understand. But I'm just going to believe him. See, there's holy shit, this might be the biggest one I've seen on this boat in a long time. Of course he said that to he says that to all the ladies. But I did in fact do it. So regardless if it's true, right? I mean that's a catch. Can't bear it. You can kind of see it. Sorry about I should have brought this up on screen, but whatever. So you see, that's a massive catch. Now, no, it was unmatched the rest of the day, of course. Did we both catch, it ended up being like 30 each? Yes. But, so it's definitely an L for Andrew. He did not win that. Okay, he did. So, I have him beat in at least two areas. Beard and fish. So, I wanted to get that out before he reframes it. He's going to try to reframe it. He's going to make it more subtle. You know what I mean? So just don't let him do that when he streams in a bit. Other than that, that was like great. I mean, Andrew and I got to spend all this time just hanging out, not business oriented. Some of it like brainstorming, fun brainstorming about stuff, right? And, by the way, toward the end of the fishing expedition, we saw a gator, made friends with a gator, and we started throwing our catches toward the gator. I failed big time a couple times, I think we had to shoot it like 3 times. The last one we got it, though. We fed our gator friend, and that was fun. I wanted to get closer, though. I honestly did. $5 from EvDog. Wes, tells Andrew to lift his shirt. Andrew does, and it's a tattoo of Wes telling someone to lift their shirt. That's funny. Dude, that's really funny. That's something I might actually have to meme. That's really good. I like that one. Prison prattle's got to become a thing. Okay, so after that, we're like, this was epic. It was epic. We ate well, you know, found some really good steak places. We ate well. But the fishing was fun, and just hanging out was fun, right? Because most of the time, you know, Andrew's either going to go with his cameraman, and that's going to be like a lot of work too, mostly working. And so this was fun. What else? I mentioned I met Jay. Jay is really funny in person. He's definitely quirky online, but he's even more quirky in person. So I hope to do more stuff with him because he does a lot of live events. And now because of this trip, the cool thing is for whatever level an event is, as far as like how big the platform is or whatever, I know that that I can take a trip. Now, 5 days is a little long to be away from my family. Thinking 3 in the future would be a little bit better. So yeah, I'll be doing that in the future if it comes up for sure. So, anywho, is there anyone streaming right now? Because I don't know if Andrew started. Johnny says, I hope you made fun of Sneeko for needing Owen to defend. You know what's funny is that guy's name didn't come up at all. At all. Now, I don't know if most people don't even know who the hell I am, and why should they? I'm not a very known person. In fact, my scribbles are more known than me, which is fine. I actually prefer it that way, but you know, maybe you didn't put 2 and 2 together. But that would have been funny to ask me. I just didn't bring it up. I thought it was a funny test to see if like that would come up at all. I just think the guy's irrelevant and nobody cares about talking about him at all. It's like, you know, basically the Muslims, at least in the streaming sphere and some of the entertainment crossover and news sphere, they'll use anybody who has any notoriety to push some sort of message or any sympathetic position on Islam. That's how they think. So, you know, that's just a tool. But it was I mean, it was fun. He's just like a kid, honestly. No, I'm not saying that condescendingly. I'm just like, you know, he's not an older dude, you know, early 40s with 3 kids or 5 kids or any other amount of kids. So it's like the views are totally different, right? But it was fun shooting machine guns with him. So, you know, for what it's worth, shout out to Sneeko for shooting automatic weapons with 2 ortho bros. Right? Good on you. Mr. West for $1.99. Thank you. Random $1.99. Was it a Hellcat? Yeah, it was like a beefy. It was a beefy something. It's a beefy car. It makes me happy when men get to do man stuff. Yeah, that's really important, in fact. And it's a lot of silence. That's what's so funny. You know, no offense to the women, but do you know how much time Andrew and I spent together? I mean, a decent portion is talking and chatting, talking shit, making fun of each other, you know, whatever else. But there was like an extensive amount of time accumulated where we said, in fact, we went out for steaks, and one of those we didn't talk the whole time. The whole entire time. That's like a woman's nightmare. I don't know. Does he not like me? Or do we not? What's going? The silence is killing me. I need to know. I need an account of reality right now. Are you sure you're okay? We're all fucking steak is overpriced. Fucking steak is overpriced. Overpriced steak. Make it back on the stream. Overpriced steak. Enjoyment is haram in Islam? Well, that's a good question. What about laughter? Well, the other thing is the music. I got into a little Twitter spat. Someone was trying to say I was starting beef with Sneeko and some stupid Twitter thing, and I was like, no, I'm not. I just like to talk about this stuff. The music thing came up again on Twitter, and I was like, can you tell me the distinction between a voice and a flute, such that singing notes from a voice is not music, but playing it from a flute is? And they would say it's the instrument itself. And I would say, can you tell me the distinction that's meaningful, that says the instrument, evil instrument, that plays a simulation of a voice, and the voice itself, which is an instrument of the body, sings something? And they said it's the instrument. And I said, why is the instrument evil? And their argumentation led to a complete self-destruction of their view, because they said, you know what they said? They said, instruments have been habitually used by sort of demonic practices, for demonic practices. Now, they think that's a good argument. I don't know if that is the official Islam take, okay? To be fair, I don't know. But if it is, that is the worst possible argument that I've ever heard. So that means if time goes on and music and playing instruments suddenly takes up predominantly, the use of it is predominantly towards something good and not demonic, you can then make music not a sin anymore? That's like saying, well, throughout history, most men used literature and words to say untrue things, which we find sinful. And because of that, words and symbols are wrong. We think they're wrong. We don't do that. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. Now, maybe someone in the chat can correct me if that in fact is true. If that's the argument, that is terrible. Yeah, so is singing or chanting even, right? Chanting. This is like a, Stalin liked peanut butter argument. Eating is just a cope for starvation. I think that BS. I think we actually said that. I forgot if we said it in the car or after when we were kind of giggling. But good point. That it would be the problem there. Root canal isn't a normal day thing. Yeah, but then you're just making an arbitrary. Like, okay, if it's... in fact, I think that's even worse. The fact that it's not normal means that you should be able to uphold the pain, because you're not going to deal with a lot of them. The normal things, the argument should go in reverse. Anyway. All right. What else we got here? Did anyone give me anybody's update on who's live right now? I mean, I'll keep going. I don't care. It's fun. Did you and Andrew do research on Wes? No, we were kicking ourselves for that, honestly. We didn't know who he was. We didn't have a list of there was no place we can go to find the list of panelists, right? But we were kicking ourselves. It's not our fault, but we're like, only if. Can you imagine if we had any information on that guy going into that? Could you imagine? Crucible going live? Yeah. He said he's going live today. I don't know if it's tonight or today, but he's probably sleeping. Did you finish the super chat from FB, thank you, $4.99. No, we didn't do research. We wish we had. One guy you reviewed said that he got the comment making fun of his hair on the one video, said he shaved it. He shaved it after he got made fun of. Well, he also apparently misrepresented where he went to jail and for how long he went to jail. I think it's true that he did, in fact, put the paperwork up his butt, which you'll probably hear in greater detail if there's a trash talk, which I hope there is. So if, please make it known to Andrew that he ought to do a trash talk extravaganza on this man. But maybe even not just him, but maybe there's more people in the prison YouTube sort of mansphere self-help nonsense. Maybe there's a ton. I sent a Bob chat, or at least to charge me. I didn't see here pop up though. Let me check. Logan, appreciate you, Logan. Let me see. It's sometimes late. Things get behind with these systems. No, I got it right here. $10 comes in for Logan. Thank you so much, Logan. Really do appreciate that. Logan says, how much would you say you enjoyed the F&F trip? Do you think you and Andrew did considerably better by having the other there? And what show would you most likely appear on next? Yeah, I would think Andrew would perform exactly how he performs, whether someone's there with him or not. I think he has more fun if someone's there, because there's a lot of inside jokes during that panel that we looked at each other and laughed, which unfortunately made us look more like a gay couple trying to adopt, considering how close we had to sit to each other. But things like that, I think, enhance the value and the experience, but not necessarily the performance. Now, am I more comfortable launching into onto a large podcast that nobody knows me, that from their view I haven't earned the seat? Is there a little more pressure? Is there a little more confidence that I need to generate? Yeah. Does that help that Andrew is there? Absolutely. But I think for that particular segment, talking to a bunch of who-was doesn't really require that much confidence, honestly. Okay. So, but in another situation where it was like more challenging normative debate, right? Something outside of the, trashing and questioning OnlyFans chicks, lost feminists. I'd be a little less confident just in general. Never going to ride with Sneeko again. Sweat on his Corinthian leather. Yeah, I thought he'd actually have a more flashy car, honestly. I thought he would have a flashier car. Yeah, my StreamYard chat is so behind, like hours. Whoops. My Protestant friend said meditation is pagan. Since it's linked to Hinduism, is there truth to this? I don't know that that's the case. I can see how someone would come to that, though. But meditation itself is kind of broad. It really depends on what you're focusing on. It's like, we don't like the word meditation for its connotations, but there is, in fact, a form, in a sense, of meditative prayer. But we wouldn't want it linked in to crossing your legs Indian style and dreaming of beans and rice. I think it's just sort of like another form of sort of concentrating your thoughts, managing your thoughts, managing your impulses and your desires, But there's a context in which you do it, and that's what's criticized. It's not the practice per se. It's like I did a lot of meditation in my day, and I found out quite early that it's impossible not to listen to my own voice, and I've got 3. One of my voices is the pragmatic. It's the thing that just says, do what works. And I have another voice that questions the fundamental assumption that what works has been established. It's like, why? It's like, why should I do what works? And that's the side of me that sort of takes on the Christian position, even if it's just a techne, even if I just like using Christianity like a useful, Swiss Army knife that has all the right weapons inside. It's like that's how I see Christianity, It's like the most versatile Swiss Army knife you could use in the woods when you're alone, I've got a psychological analysis scheduled with Mr. Wes Watson coming up. I want to get inside his mind. I want to know more about him. What makes him tick? What makes him tick-tock? You know? It's like he's probably going to yell at me, but that's not going to work for me because I'm already crying. It's like, how do you make a man cry if he cries before you make him? You know? It's like you can't. It's like you're fucked. It's like his technique's not going to work on me. I'm impervious to it. I see it as a weakness. It's like he's the one going to be showing me his tummy. It's like I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it and reverse it. Like Missy Elliott style. Motherfucker. Look who's cussing now. I would love to see you and Andrew versus Rollo and Mike Sartain debate about the red pill. I would love that. I would love that, Leon. You know, I did watch Rollo's thing. He was just so, you know, he made fun of the guy appropriately. He also pretended he didn't know who I was. I mean, yeah, most people don't know me, but I've talked to you on like 3 different streams. You've been on my channel, Rollo. You just didn't want to shout it out, you prick. How did I end up at the conference? Well, Andrew is basically a shoo-in. Like, the conference, other than sort of Andrew being a wrecking ball on those podcasts, based on the context of the conference, neither of us were really appropriate to be up on stage if the context of the event is, you know, how to stay rich or how to get rich, or we're like, what? What are you talking about? What are you saying? But certainly I wouldn't have been up there. Absolutely. I wouldn't have been up there or in Miami or on the actual podcast if Andrew wasn't already fully associated with them. No, not even a chance. I'm starting my new Minnesota cult. If anyone wants to join, Woodshop is starting a cult in Minnesota. It's a $400 entry. It's just pretty affordable these days. But you have to tape it to your tum-tum and lift your shirt to present, right? Yeah. When are you starting to own your crypto? You know, I never really got into it. I did NFT, which is technically, you know, on the blockchain and stuff, because people were like, dude, turn your stuff into NFT. But I never quite saw it ever as something worth pursuing. You know, I could see why people get into it and then they win big, and then they argue, well, now they're swearing by it because they win big. Well, you never hear that from the people who don't win big, who lose big. You know, it's just gambling. It's fiat currency. It's just gambling. Fine, you won. If you have extra money and you want to do that, I don't know. I would, but I'm in 3 cults already, Johnny Arcade says. Yeah. It's just gambling. Crypto is just decentralized money. It's not about gambling your wealth. I don't think so, Elam. I think it's not decentralized, that's for sure. You call it that because technically the mechanism that you're using is a decentralized computer system, if you will. But no. Is electricity decentralized? The answer is no. The entire system relies on the electric grid. The electric grid powers the mining rigs. The mining rigs keep the ledger alive. The interactions keep the currency going, okay? This is very, very, not that you mean it, Elon, but it's like decentralized, what it means in the material sense is different than what it means in the computing sense. They like to say it's decentralized because technically, when you look at just the system itself of what it's doing, you have decentralized. That doesn't mean it's decentralized in the sense that like there's no control over it, right? Of course there is. You shut off the grid. Shut off the grid, see if it's decentralized. It is fiat, though, username. It is fiat. It's fiat. It represents the existing currency. It's just another, it's the same shit. Just because your wallet changes, say, oh, it's a different wallet. Yeah. What is the fact that you can exchange it for, quote, other currency? Well, that currency needs to be backed by something, right? It's silly. I'm not saying, I don't even have any argument like against doing it. I just think it's mostly gambling. That's all. Solar will be up. Yeah, if suddenly electricity is decentralized and suddenly you can power your own infrastructure and connect all the rigs together, connect the networks together, and it's not reliant completely on some sort of subsidies and government infrastructure. Enforcement, by the way, enforcement. It's nothing, dude. It's just a fun, it's commoditized energy. That's probably more accurate, Dustin, honestly. John Slide Rule Boulay says, my other YouTube channel I talk about gold and silver coins. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's the aspect of it. I've sold NFTs of like some really sort of viral work during the Karunka days that people wanted to sort of stamp into time forever, freeze into time forever. And I always thought it was more appropriate that if you bought that you would get a physical version of it. That made more sense to me. Lord Bonnerwart for 199 says, not gambling, G, buy and hold, never sell, boomer. Well, I mean, never sell and what? Then it's never valuable, right? So I don't understand, right? Appreciate the super chat, but if you never sell, it could go down or it could go up, right? If the point is buy a form of currency that you'll never ever use ever, then what would be the point of having it? That's like saying like buy a house and never sell. Okay, well the house can go up or down, but at least the house is useful. Like you can buy a house and say don't buy or just don't sell it, right? Don't sell it. Okay. Well, if you don't sell it and you buy it, you have a house. If you buy crypto and you never sell it, then what is the value of having it if it's never exchanged? That's my question. You just have it? And then you're eventually going to say no because, you have it until you need it. Well, no, if you need it, then you're gambling whether it goes up or down. Well, so this is like a silly reasoning from the crypto person is that the position is, well, if you don't sell, then you don't lose when it's down. But then you also don't gain when it's up. So that's your way of saying, well, see, it's not a problem. Well, no, it's just nothing. It's just money that you spent before that's either way more valuable than the money you spent for it or less. But the question is, until when? Never? EMP shielding is more advanced than you know. Well, I'm not sure about, regardless of shielding or anything else you're talking about, I'm asking a pretty clear question here. If you say it's not gambling, just hold it, right? Just hold it. Let's say I put money down at the roulette table. And I'm allowed, they have to keep my money, right? They have to keep my money. And you're telling me, well, just don't cash out, right? Not only that, don't even spin the wheel. Well, no, spin the wheel is more an accurate analogy. Okay, so you give the money to the house, and the guy's there, and he's ready to spin the roulette wheel, right? Now, let's say as long as the money's there, you get endless spins on the wheel. And that's crypto. And you know, he spins it once and it lands on, you know, the number, and you multiply your crypto by 20. And he goes, "Would you like your payout?" And you go, "No." Spin it again. And it goes up another, you know, 20 times, right? The value. He goes, "Sir, you want to cash out?" "No, I'm not going to cash out. Please keep spinning." I mean, don't leave, right? Don't leave the roulette table. But not only that, don't ever cash out. You can't win or lose. It just stays in there, and that's it. You just stay it in there. You know, just keep it in there. That's what I'm asking. You can use crypto at the local grocery. You just said don't take it out. Hello? You missed your super chat? Okay, let me see. Sorry about that, BS. BS, you did a super chat? I don't even believe you. Did you say a super chat or your super chat? I've never seen a BS super chat, ever. Ever. Not once. I don't see BS super chat. No, there is one. Oh, sorry. I'm way behind on I keep going back and forth to the StreamYard in this one. All right. Steven says, they spin, nigga. They spinning. Yeah, keep spinning. You can't lose. You can't lose if you keep spinning. That's what I'm asking you. You just said, no, it's not gambling. Just don't take it out. And then you said, well, I can use it for sandwiches. You know what I mean? Hello? I don't understand that. Make it make sense to me. I'm not this guy who's like, you know, fully anti-crypto. I see obviously a lot of terrible potential with the technology. Forget the currency, just the technology. It's not gambling to just hold because you can hold as a hedge in your portfolio. Isn't a hedge a bet? Isn't the word hedge a bet? If that's the case, right, that you can use it and hold it as a hedge in your portfolio, the point is, can you hedge something against something else if it has no value? So you're saying there's a way to buy into crypto where the value of the coin doesn't go up or down indefinitely? Is that what you're saying? And if that's the case, then I'd grant it. But again, it's useless unless you take it out at some point when it's most valuable. Why? Because it only represents value. It's not valuable in itself. So it's only valuable to something that's labor or physical, right? Even a hedge fund. Well, it's for some future that you can use it and take it out and hopefully not be charged insane amounts for taking it out. For what? Well, for things you actually value, like shelter or food or gasoline or a gun or a safe, or glasses or fixing your arm. So I still don't understand the logic here. It's only useful if you can use it. In fact, it's only useful when you use it, definitionally. Is that fair to say? Something's only useful when you actually use it? I don't think that's very controversial, honestly. All right, let me check if there's any more Bob chats. If you like to support the channel as it grows, we hit 15,000. That's a big deal for me. 15,000. I want a lot of congratulations from you all. Can you remember the days of the Prius? 15,000 going strong on YouTube. I'll do a celebration on Friday with a book drive, some fun skits, I guess. Are you going to bring your boyfriend with you? Wow, that's a really original, dude. It's really original. Got some original stuff going on here. All right, I think we're caught up on that. I saw a lot of book sales. Now, for some reason, the book sales aren't showing up, just the Bob chats on my side. So if you did buy a book, I really appreciate that. It did show up. Thank you so much, whoever bought books. Great way to support while getting something in return. Can't wait to unveil the stickers on Friday. You guys are going to laugh at the stickers. I might even make a Wes sticker, honestly, just to troll them. You know, because there's this option to make a holograph. You know those old school hologram stickers? You know, the old style? Samson and Delace, $25. Thank you so much, dude. Or ma'am. Sounds like a fancy store. Is that a fancy store? Suddenly I want, like, cream cheese and lox on French bread right now. The alerts are spazzing. Maybe it's the alerts are spazzing, probably. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll figure out a Wes Watson sticker where he's lifting his shirt up or something like that. You know, something embarrassing. Shaved belly band. That's funny, dude. That's funny. That's funny. Shaved belly bear. So I'm reading very old chats here. Appreciate that donation, though. Raging Patriot comes in, $5. Thank you so much, Raging Patriot. Jim Bob, you and Andrew owned that meathead. You guys were the only men on that stage. The pen is mightier than the sword. Shoulders were huge that night. They are. They're getting bigger, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. In fact, I'm going back today. I did even work out. I worked out at the hotel. Your logic says buying a house is scammy. No, it's not. I appreciate the donation, Lord Bonnerwort, but I made the distinction. A house is something you can use directly. It's shelter. You can live in the house. You can rent the house. You can eat a sandwich. Okay? Because the thing you paid for the sandwich represented value. But the value, the representation of value is not the sandwich. You understand? Do you understand? This no offense, but this is very basic. For instance, if someone runs a sandwich shop and I make cowboy boots, they have a skill, they have a service, they have a product, I have a skill, I have a service and a product. And I want a sandwich, but the sandwich maker doesn't want a boot, okay? What you call value or money, in your case, which you're wrong about, is the buffer, the thing that represents the exchange. And because I want a sandwich and the sandwich person doesn't want my boots, I have to give them something that's equal in value to, in this case, trading. Because they don't want boots. Okay? They don't want the boots. So no, it's not the same at all. Why? Because when you buy or even rent a house and it starts raining outside, you realize that no, in fact, you weren't gambling. When you buy a sandwich, and you know that act of when you buy a sandwich and you start chewing on it and it goes down your esophagus and it fills your stomach and you go, oh, now I have food in my stomach. Right? You couldn't eat the money, right? You couldn't eat the money. You could eat the sandwich, though. Okay? That's the difference. You can't go anywhere without your boyfriend. Ha, 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 ha. Dude, at least tell a good joke. At least tell a good joke. It's just stupid. John, side rule, $5 says, I own gold and silver as a long-term savings account, right? Buy low, sell high, yet you physically own it. Right, you're physically owning something. And in the event people, you need it for trade, you have something available to you. Now, let's say the grid goes down and you don't have the digital currency to trade, nor does anyone care about it. The thing about gold and silver, let's say the value of it as an exchange, something to exchange, goes down. The silver and the gold still has physical function to it. The gold and the silver still has useful physical function to it that you can transpose into physical value. Tools. Tools. It applies to tools. So it's still going to have some value, even if the currency value goes to zero, which, in that case it can't, because it's physical. The physical thing itself has some value. Now, that's not the same as like you choose arbitrarily a shell, right? Oh, the shell equals money, right? Suddenly, if people stop agreeing that shells equal money, the shells have no value. But that's not the same for silver. Even in the sense where you're no longer trading coins for money as money, silver, raw material, still has a value, has a utility value. So, FB says for $9.99, this would probably boost Andrew's ego too much. I seen some people say that they think Andrew would actually beat Wes in a fight. I think that might be true. I think Andrew is a boxer. I think Wes is slow and dumb. Wes is the kind of person who gets in your face and gets surprised that he just gets clocked in the chin. And he's like, what? I thought I was yelling. You're like, yeah, you were. That's past tense now. Now you're on the floor. If I can buy food, it's objectively valuable. No, that's false. No. Well, the if is not false, right? However, if you can buy food, but you just said, Lord, okay? I don't know why this is so hard for you, dude. But I appreciate the ongoing tiny super chats just to go back and forth with me. I can buy a sandwich at the locally. Yeah, I know you can buy a sandwich at the grocery store. If you can buy food, if you can. But the thing is, if you say don't sell, that means you're not using it to buy food. Do you understand? You said don't sell. That means don't take it out. That means don't convert it to cash. Don't do anything with it. Right? Don't do anything. Well, no, that's selling. You're just buying a sandwich. You sold it for a sandwich. That's selling. I'm only countering this because earlier up, everyone saw you say, no, it's not a gamble. Just sell it. Okay. If you plan on using crypto to buy a sandwich, and the day you buy crypto, it's one price, and that gets you a certain sandwich or a certain amount of sandwiches, and the next day it crashes. Regardless if you can still use it to buy a sandwich, the question isn't that. The question is whether or not you gambled by not buying the sandwich today and you waited tomorrow to buy the sandwich. This is very basic. I think you're a troll. I don't think anyone with a functioning brain, no offense, like, the only question you're asking is how much do I want the crypto value to align with the sandwich price? That's all you're asking. Like, how much do you want it based on when you bought it? That's like saying buy gasoline now, but never use it. Buy gasoline now while it's low. Okay. For what? Well, for when it's high, but don't sell. Okay. Should I use it? No, you want to hold. What do you mean? I need gasoline now. Well, all right. All right, fine, use it. Logan Daly, $10. I think crypto is a viable investment. However, most cryptos are purely and obnoxious scams. Stock or precious metal at least have other uses besides the gamble of investment. Well, yeah, it's a gamble. Even investments are gambles. It's like, it's an investment, so it's a risk. I mean, that's it. It's a risk. If it's a risk, it's a gamble. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They just don't like the word. They don't like the word gamble. Of course it's a gamble. Buying a house with the assumption you're going to sell it is a gamble. And it's still an investment, but it's a gamble. Stangley at $5. Steel and copper might be more objectively valuable than gold and silver outside of currency value. Yeah, so is rhodium at the moment, at least, I think, still. Platinum. So yeah. But any use is good. Any use is more valuable than no use. Any use. I would love to slay some peacock bass. Oh, it was fun. And those, what were the other things? There was another, a gar. Have you guys ever seen a gar? It looks like a mini alligator without arms. Oh, evolution is true. No, it's not. Sharp teeth. It bites your fish, right? Your live bait. It bites it sideways like this. And then it waits for you to yank on the thing so it gets the whole thing. So it waits. So when you have a gar, you feel it, but you can't reel it in. You have to wait. And then the water is so clear, it's awesome that you can see the gar with the fish until, the reflective glow of the fish goes away. You know you got the gar. Nasty little things. And then the Oscars. The Oscars are smaller than the peacock bass, but they feel like you caught like a 20-pounder. And it's this tiny, not tiny, but it was like an Oscar is like this. Definitely fun, though. I recommend it. If there's anyone in Florida or Fort Lauderdale, I highly recommend it. The guy's name is Hutch. He was a great guide, real fun, easygoing. Took you to all the fun spots. Please provide a link to Andrew's page. Andrew's page is just the Crucible. It's very easy to find. Anywho's trying to catch up with this chat here. Buy crypto, but don't hold it forever. Sell when you're up. Go buy back when it dips. That seems pretty obvious to me, Cheese Face. If they just said that, I'd be like, okay. Still a gamble, but you understand it. That's pretty much the most accurate advice, Cheese Face, you can give. Okay, you're going to buy low. You hope it gains. If it gains and skyrockets, sell it before it dips again. Take a chunk of what you got, just like at a casino, by the way. Say, I'm only buying this more. I'll go in again. I'll do it again. Right? I'll do it again. Gar. Jim Bob, what does it say? Sorry. Stand up. You missed your super chat. Let me check if it was a super chat or was it Bob chat stand up. Oh, stand up. Got you. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. Stand up for $4.99 says, look up Joey Stacks, prison guy who works blue collar and is actually legit. Even has an expose on Wes Watson. Big boy is also prison fraud. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them stand up. Thanks for that. Yeah, I hope Andrew does an expose and does a trash talk. I think that would be. Or lunatics on the internet. I mean, what would it be? Do we even know what it would be? Is it a lunatics? Is it not? Is it both? Is it the first trash talk extravaganza that's also a lunatics on the internet? Sit down. What are you motherfuckers talking about? Do you make the fish lift its shirt? Yeah. Someone said something. Holy, I forgot. Someone about debating. I forget. I don't see it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it, Bobby. Holding is not the way, he says. Crypto is basically a big marketing scam. Right, it's marketing. Can you hype things up, drive it up, have insight of when it's going to dip? If you know for certain it's going to, I don't know, via the influence of someone like Elon Musk's who crashes a coin based on one tweet, then you know when to sell early. Ta-da! Wes's prime sound. I don't know a better character choice dog training than Wes for soundboard stuff. Honestly. It was about Jay having a debate is when they said in 30 minutes. Oh, he does have a debate in 30 minutes? Well, I think he just opens it up to anybody. Okay, more crypto guy coming in, $1.99. My roof leaks, but didn't when I moved. Gamble? What? Your roof leaks, but didn't when you get, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you bought, right? If you didn't know there was a problem with your roof and you paid for a house, you effectively participated in gambling. Yes. The answer is yes, in short. Yep. And then later you found out it had a leaky roof and you said, oh man, I wish I knew about that before I bought it. That way I could have negotiated with the person and said, you know what I know about leaky roofs, and I know the all of the antecedents to leaky roofs. You know this, right? And the seller has to say, yeah, you got me. That's true. There is, in fact, the beginning of a leaky roof. And then guess what? You lowered the amount that you're gambling by knowing that. You lowered it. So yes, anything you buy has a maintenance element to it. So when you buy something, it's a gamble, because what if something's very useful but has a super high maintenance? Well, then you have to do a trade-off of how much you're going to use it and if you're going to get paid for using it. Right? If you buy a really expensive guitar that has some shelf value because some douchebag, signed it with his vomit in the 80s, you have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to actually use it or not. In fact, people would say, maybe it's best you don't use it. So now it has no utility. But if you did use it, you'd actually have to maintain it. So that's a gamble in itself. I don't know. If there's any risk, it's very basic. You just don't like the word gambling, dude. It's very basic. Anything that has a risk is gambling. Once the Crucible goes live, we'll spam L. Andrew, W, Jim Bob, fishing. Yeah, definitely. Is that the fishing emoji? Gosh, they could have figured out a better one than that. $5 from Evdog. Wes tells Andrew to lift his shirt. Oh, okay. These are old. I don't know why I keep going back to that. Sorry. Let me see what else came in. Yeah, this is what he said. Yeah, it was a gamble. You gambled. That's just a fact. You gambled. Yeah, Gnostic informant. Opportunity cost 101. Correct. That's why I'm like, do you guys think this is a spam? Think this is like a crypto bot? That's just like, anything you say against it is bad. Jimmy James says his buddy won a Fender Strat autographed by Richie Sambora on the radio contest. He immediately wiped off the auto. That's really funny. That's funny. That's Bon Jovi, right? That's the other dude. Did he actually film that? I mean, that would be funny if he was like, "Oh my gosh," and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Richie Sambora." And he's like, oh my gosh. He just takes like a wet wipe from the diaper section of his house. And he's just like, oh my gosh. Can you believe it? He's not a bot. He's just reasonably pushing back. What are you talking about? Nothing he said is reasonable. If it was reasonable, I would actually accept it. I'd be like, oh yeah, that actually is reasonable. You're another bot, right? W1's dumb 3. Tell me one reasonable thing he said that's actually true. Nothing. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Everything in life is a gamble, so it's meaningless to say. Okay, so then he's not being reasonable by saying something's not gambling. By your own admission, everything's gambling, which I agree. That's reasonable. Thank you, W1. No, you said something reasonable. He didn't. You did. Come on. Don't give him credit. Lift up your shirt. Lift up your shirt, motherfucker. Lift up your shirt. I've been lifting up my shirt for days. Mother. You don't know. You don't know me. Show me your butt. It's unreasonable I have hair on my arms. I know. How could I ever be a guide to men in any way, shape, or form? Lift up your shirt. Show Wesley tatas. Show Wesley some tatas. Show me them tatas. I don't want to see that. Wait, see what? Oh, you don't want to see your tatas? Yeah, no, we're joking. We don't. My friend opened an autographed book from Norman Mailer, and the autograph said, F you, Norman Mailer. True story. This was probably happened over 20. I figured, Jimmy James. I was like, that would be internet history. Like, that would be a known meme. Zambora eraser. Show me your paperwork. That's funny. Show me your paperwork. I know where it is. I know where your paper. Well, fuck you. Why are these even guys on the stage with me? I seen some shit. I seen it. Did I tell Andrew about Witch Week? Yeah. He said they're down, but it's more of a seasonal thing. Leon, $2. It's known taking 10 aka steroids make you sus. Yeah, he's liver king. He's liver king of red pill liver king for sure. Look up Lil Tay. This costs more than your rent. Oh boy. I don't have a Bugatti. Is this guy joking? How do you get on a stage and you don't even have your first Lambo? Oh, get it. Sit down. I seen some shit. Literally. I wiped it off, but I seen it. Are you reviewing JBP and Russell Brand? I didn't see it. That's certainly something I can do tomorrow. I do have this atheist cringe dude who reviewed my videos, who I'm going to at least fit in there. But that's a good idea. Let me do that tomorrow. Bolt. Thank you, Bolt. JBP and Russell Brand. Because I heard Russell Brand got dipped in the water. Made by Jim Bob. W1 says, I would be interested in a debate on crypto libertarianism, though. I think you are off the mark on the topic. Well, any form of libertarianism is fine if you ever want to jump on. Libertarianism is a shit show. And by the way, the end of the debate, it's not libertarian at all unless your form of libertarianism requires a state to uniformly protect and enforce the electric grid. Okay? So the irony of libertarian crypto nerds is that all the infrastructure, all the law, all the things you have to manage, you're still relying wholly on a lot of state shit. But some people say, I don't care, I'm still libertarian. I didn't even offer skepticism, W1. I just offered refutation against not your claims, but the other dude's claims that it's not gambling or that it's valuable because you could buy a sandwich. Jim Bob, your impression of the Hispanic Jack dude next was your favorite? Yeah, that was fun too. He was just nicer. That's why I didn't really attack him. He was just at least nicer. But really, both terrible philosophies they have. Terrible. Libertarianism has a limited government, though. It's not anarchy. Well, that's a line. Like, that's actually just an assumption that no libertarian can tell you objectively where the line is between libertarianism tendencies and anarchism. Right? You're all arbitrary. What does limited mean? To who? Every libertarian has a different position on what the limits are. You don't agree on anything. Okay? Every aspect of libertarianism is so underthought. It's so it's so childish. Just childish. So yeah, that's the point. Is like, what's the limit? In fact, if I was on a panel with 3 libertarians and I was debating, I would ask 3 questions and I would be out of the debate because you'd be debating. That's libertarianism for you. Libertarianism logically collapses into anarchy if you follow it through. If you follow it through, absolutely. The Constitution. What is that? Did someone ask you a question? Founding fathers outlined the Constitution. I don't know what that's in response to. What are you saying? What's outlined? Libertarianism. Yeah, but it's not like they were libertarian tards. They were talking about like the whole like context was about another nation, another peoples. The whole thing. It's like, by the way, the Constitution, as practical as it could be, is still doesn't have a strong basis. So, if you're trying to get people on board with libertarianism by appealing to the constitutional, like you think we're some sort of constitutional boomers over here, that's not going to work over here. That's for sure. Right, but that's true among Christians. You said, what's the line? Oh, the line. Well, that's still arbitrary. Right? If you say the Constitution, then you appeal to rights. If you appeal to rights, you appeal to liberalism. If you appeal to liberalism, you appeal to degeneracy. Okay? It's all liberty LARPing. Anybody on the far right who swears to the allegiance to the Constitution above all things is just, they're mostly a feminist or a libertarian, right? They just have redder clothes. They just have more red shirts. Libertarians have just all black, black and hats and twisty mustaches and weird unnecessary wine carafes. What do you call it? Carafe. Stangley at $5. If the U.S. switched to libertarianism today, China would invade tomorrow. Anybody could invade it, honestly. Libertarianism? I mean, it's just like, well, guys, why did they invade? We're just sitting here with our hookahs. It's like, I don't understand what we did. We were not aggressing anyone. You guys aggressed. They did it. Mom. He started off by saying crypto does not equal investment. Who did? No, I said investments is betting. Investment is betting. I would grant crypto can be an investment if it goes well, but it's still gambling. That's what I said. If I did say crypto is not an investment, I retract the statement. Because anything that you put money into that can increase in value is technically, the intent is that you're investing. So if I did say that, you got 1 point on me. I made a mistake. But I don't think I said that. I think I said it's gambling, and investment is gambling. Patristic Faith says the problem with libertarianism is that it is grounded in the Enlightenment philosophy. Right. It absolutizes autonomy and freedom. Yeah, and it's impossible to maintain a society, a civilization, if your fundamental highest virtue is autonomy and freedom. Freedom tells you nowhere. Tells you to do, freedom tells you nothing about a telos. That's like saying, what's your goal? And it says efficiency. Well, that's not a goal. That's something that describes the path between A and B is the goal. Efficiency is the thing you describe in between toward the goal. Same thing. What's your goal? Liberty. What do you mean? That's a starting point. Well, it's also my ending point. Okay, well, it tells us nothing about how to organize a society. Libertarianism is bankrupt. It's a terrible philosophy, especially as a father. I understand being deluded enough in your 20s and early 30s without kids to think libertarianism must be the way because it's so geared toward individualism. That how could you see it another way? Your life is individualism at that point. But it's as soon as you start asking questions about how to organize and maintain a society, you've necessitated the threat of force that is otherwise unnecessary. In fact, you know who abides by the nap in a sense? Not in every case of it, but the irony is that the government itself, that the police, when you go out there, if you're leaning anarchism and you look at the cop who's dressed up and has his gun, you're like, oh, fucking cops. These fucking cops. But really, they are if they're non-aggressive, they're just sitting there. They're maintaining the non-aggression principle, and the threat of force is looming. They are the embodiment of the threat of force. Just sitting around. Hi, what are you? Hey, are you a cop? I'm the threat of force. I am the threat of force. I think the stream is winding down, but I would like to jump on at some point. Yeah, when it's I appreciate the back and forth, dude. Yeah, maybe when libertarianism comes up more often than not. So just hang out, become a member. I definitely welcome you on for a chat about libertarianism. I think it's definitely contributing to the failure on every front. Aesthetic failure, failure in customs, failure in decency code, failure even economically. You might be able to argue libertarianism fails. Libertarianism is not some sort of stance that's in a vacuum, that's somehow independent of all these other ethical entailments. There's so many things involved with that stance. You know, libertarians argue like atheists do. They say, oh, it's not, I just a non-position, I just don't want the force. Atheists are like, it's not a worldview, it's just a particular stance on God. That's what libertarians argue very similarly. Well, it's not, I'm just taking a descriptive claim. It's not it's just a baseline position of like, don't tread on me, bro. Well, that position can't be crafted in a vacuum. It's theory laden. And guess what? The position of libertarianism, when you press on the ethical positions, it borrows from a larger system, hint, hint, Christianity in a sense, but then it contradicts it. So the overlapping thing is borrowed is some sort of assumption of human decency, dignity. Like if we asked why autonomy, you start to point to them borrowing from Christianity. Because being a human, being a being, having your free will, these are all meta-ethical, metaphysical claims. They're not found in nature. So they like to borrow that value of a human being, and they maybe argue rights from there, but they don't like to confront, well, sorry, you can't just arbitrarily value a human because my rights. It falls apart. Also, libertarianism ends up only really benefiting the international banking elite. Yeah, it also starts favoring, and this becomes infighting, a topic of infighting among libertarians, is that this concept of borders, suddenly libertarianism, from the open borders perspective, is also a threat to national identities, which further benefits international banking. Isn't that interesting? Basically, not all. Some libertarians argue for borders. But from what I've heard, They only argue in the short term for borders because it's what we got right now. They also, this is my favorite and most funny libertarian position. The freedom of movement. Think about this for a second, and then we'll start close up here. The freedom of movement, just like the freedom of anything else, it's bodily autonomy, man. I could float around and do modern dance in the street, bro. You can't stop me. There's no such thing as a border. That's imaginary crafted line. You need force. That's illegitimate. I can go over that. Dude, I have the right to draw out a hopscotch game all over the world, bro. Look at my fedora. Look at this tomato. Look at my tummy. Come on, bro. Okay. Let's say land was up for grabs entirely by private entities. I don't know, BlackRock and, Target and Nike and Microsoft. Let's just say, push a button tomorrow. There's no more, quote, public space from a libertarian perspective. Public itself, space, is heresy. It's heresy. That's the problem. It's public. That's the problem. There's no such thing. There's only private. Okay, great. Let's grant you private land everywhere. Every aspect of the world, every inch is accounted for under a private label. All right. Now, how is it you're going to argue for the freedom of movement if you're one of these libertarians and also defend private property ultimately to be the only correct position? Sorry, do you have some sort of privileged position to kind of walk across the coastline that's fully owned by Bill Gates or someone else? No. By your own standard, you have no right. You can be shot. That's owned land. Okay? So now someone owns the coast. Okay? Now, someone owns the coast. You can't go on the coast anymore. Now, can you come through the coast? Can you travel? I thought you had the freedom of movement. If you get to some free location on the coast, maybe there's 300 feet left, right, that everyone funnels through. You make your way to the ocean. Well, sorry. Now that you have to leave the country because you can't travel in the country because it's completely owned by corporate entities, faceless, by the way, can't talk to them. Now you're going to leave. Well, screw this. I'm going to go where it's really free. Well, as it turns out, a message went out, right? The papers, someone snuck their papers in their hoo-hoo, traveled off and delivered the message that the new way is private land ownership only. You go to a surrounding island, you show up and you go, oh, great, those big corporate monsters didn't take control over the land. Thank God, I can get on shore. And they go, no, we might not be corporate, but we definitely own the shore. You're not coming into this island, right? Because free movement, he says, is related to public property. Well, I don't think you understand what I'm laying out here. By the way, public property, guess what? From your view, there's no such thing as property. There's only the temporary holding of something through force, the protection of which also through force. Sounds a lot like the government, doesn't it? So, the concept of property, guess what that assumes? That assumes some sort of authority in the matter of arbitration. Property, right? What is this? Property? What is it? Property rights. That's my property. Well, no. What you're really referring to in a libertarian world is there's matter and objects. There's matter and objects. There's matter. That's my property. No, in fact, that's matter. And I have this other matter called a pew-pew. And I'm going to use my pew-pew, and that matter's mine now. You don't matter. That's my matter. Okay, done. That's libertarianism. Might is. Okay, what is a right? What is this? Oh, the homestead principle. No, there's force. There's men. If that's the kind of world you want to craft, if there's just force and men, guess what? Let's say you agree and you say, great. This is the irony. Watch this. If your proclivities are toward sort of libertarianism, somewhere in between what you think libertarianism is and anarchism, if you get to the end goal of anarchism, what you get is the beginning of what is a government, because you now have this flat land, free space, empty canvas, and you agree that the descriptive truth of reality is that force is. Well, you go, great, we all agree force is. Now let's do this. Guess what you've just crafted? The beginning of a government. Why? Because if you know that force just is, then the game now is accumulating manpower and weaponry, land, resources, the ability to use tactics, threats, these kinds of things. You know that's the game. So the only game you can win in the game of force is everything is ironically becoming a government. Now, this blows me away every time the libertarian / they're on a spectrum, anarchist. You basically necessitate, feudal system. Or like warlord gang. The game is who is going to first and most effectively use their force to standardize their own system. So it's a race towards standardization. That's what a government is. It's the standardized use of force. The hoped for uniformly delivered force applicator. Force applicator. All right. I think we've done enough today. I'm at 3:30. I'm going to eat something, have another coffee. That is a violation of the NAP. Why am I being detained? You can't take my weed by force. It's a violation of rights. Yeah. Where are all these screams from this jail cell going to be? It's hilarious. So, we see objective morality here as libertarian. He's saying stopping people from harming themselves can be a defensive force. No, it can't. What do you mean? That's not self-defense. You can't. That violates autonomy. If you respect autonomy, and that's your value, objective morality, if a friend of yours is holding a pew-pew against his head, and you're saying, no, I can enact self-defense on his behalf, that's not self-defense. It's more about decentralizing power structures that already exist. Yeah, but then what, Radio Foreman? It's like, even if I granted that, toward what? To replace him. It's like when Adam Green is screaming about the Jays. I don't have my thing bagel doesn't work. You simply ask, who do you want to be in power then? You want a power vacuum? I honestly think a power vacuum would be worse if you just look at some surrounding countries. I don't know, like Libya and Somalia. Do you really think a power vacuum is better than a bunch of people in small hats who dig tunnels? Face Palmer gifts 1 made by Jim Bob membership. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. All right. Let's just check super chats and I'll start closing this out here. Only caught some of the FNF show. Jim Bob. Did Jim Bob manage to get Shapiro? I didn't get to. It wasn't. I wish I did. It just wasn't relevant. It's too highbrow for them, for the whole, for those ladies of the night coming in. Oh, that's the other thing. They had a yacht party, right? And we had it in our heads, well, that's already a bad idea, we know. But then we're like, okay, if it's the case they have fishing poles and we can stay on the back only, is that still a good idea? And I was thinking it's not, and Andrew's thinking, well, it's probably not. And we just took a peek. And we were right. We were right. Not a place for us. I mean, they had 50 something, lined up like cattle. Like cattle. Oof. All right, I think I'm caught up there. Let me just check my Bob chats here. Again, thank you for everyone who's a new member. Thank you for the very generous donations. The Bob chats have been amazing today. Thank you for the support. Anybody new here? If I did get some new people over here from the various shares and being on that podcast, I appreciate you. You're welcome to be over here. We talk about a lot of different things here, a lot of different debates. Sometimes we have call-ins. And so there's always something fun going on. Guy, for $5, sends in a Bob chat. He says, looking forward to your Wes cameo animation and my Bob Vitar. Yeah, I got yours on the queue right now. Thank you for your patience. I got you on the queue. Thank you for that. Yeah, and there might be even a Wes. I'll see if I can do it. A Wes Watson sticker bonus for the book drive on Friday that I'm doing. Okay, I think that's it. Let me just check the chat, see if there's any lingering questions here, and we will wrap up. And let me know who's live. I'd love to send you guys over somewhere. If they're live, let me know. I would appreciate that. The juxtaposition between the stupid guy and you and Andrew was amazing. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Sit down. Let me see your let me see your belly button. Come on, let me see your belly button. Come on, you can't say shit, mother. Yeah, I'll shoot you over to Jay's. Let's do that now. Let's do it. Let's do it. You'll probably get a lot more when Andrew streams. Content, more pictures, more videos, etc. Side conversations, even perhaps. So, see how this goes. All right, live. Send you over to Jay. Again, I plan to do a stream with Jay soon, whether it's on his channel or even over at the 4th hour would be fun. I do want to tackle more of the red pill stuff. That's the good thing about the trip, is it kind of, I knew this stuff existed, but I didn't know how well I could sort of fit myself into that world, right? But it turns out I can. There's a lot to talk about there that's a little more normative, that still deals with meta ethics, but isn't necessarily as dense as just like the philosophy that can get very boring. Let me check. All right. I think that's it. All right. I got you guys covered to go off. He didn't start yet, so, be patient. But I'll send you over there anyway. All right. I will fix all my sound bites. My stream deck isn't working because I need an update or something like this. But it was a fun stream. Thanks to all the new people here. Really appreciate you coming over. Again, big shout out to Hutch's Fishing Guide over in Fort Lauderdale for an epic fishing trip. And thanks for Andrew for inviting me out to Miami. That was fun. We accomplished everything we set out to do. Had fun doing it. A lot of laughing, dude. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how much laughter ensued off stream, between Andrew and I. There's just so many funny things. That's it for me. I'm going to get another coffee. Appreciate you all. And you guys have a lovely day. God bless you all. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll stream again tomorrow and cover some other stuff. All right. Adios. Be well. God bless.